Steven, you get everyone to... Oh yeah, classic. Yeah. Hey, good break so far? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So essentially I want to transition now. Well, let me make one last thought. So if you're really excited about these opportunities, this is your chance to earn it. I'm going to give you the goods. I want to equip you with tools to help you sell a ton of Cutco for all the things you want to gain from the company, but ultimately not just the M3PG experience. Another thing I often hashtag is AGL School, because I'm looking for the best of the best to be part of AGL School. AGL School is essentially branch training, but it's really leadership and life skills training. We do things like financial management, checkbook management, investing, professional public speaking. We do entrepreneurial parts of the workshops that we have to help you learn to run a business. It's not just for running a branch Cutco office, but just life skills in general. So I'm proud to say that we teach things that some people don't even learn in college, but you will apply more so than things you learn in college. Not with respect to all your majors, by the way. So that's pretty cool. So okay. Let's get started, and I want to have you pull out notebook and pen, brand new sheet of paper. You can write down SLDM at the top. We're going to need the handouts.
Yeah, which one? First?
Just get them both ready, please. Okay, awesome. So here's what I do want to tell you. If you're not excited at this point, you just haven't been paying attention, right? I just talked about all the different opportunities. So what's interesting is that when you leave here, you'll be really pumped up too. It's easy to leave this meeting and be pumped. Have you ever gone to like a training or a Wednesday night team meeting and you leave and you're just like, I don't even know why, but I'm just really pumped, right? Raise your hand and say I, yeah? Or you walk out, you're like, I can sell anything, right? But then watch, and reality hits, hold on, reality hits of challenges, difficult customers, objections, all the opposite. So it proves 2 points. Number one, that's why we have the meetings. And when you don't go, it's like not getting the oxygen. You need that like positive reinforcement, but that's not how real life works. Real life smacks you in the face, and you have to learn to pick yourself up, go around, maneuver. And what I want to share with you is that when you leave this meeting, you'll be pumped up. But all the people that are hating on Cutco will still hate on you. I promise you. That's just how it works. Or the things that are challenging will still be challenging until you work on them. But I just want to put things into perspective. If you decide to quit Cutco, and please don't quit Cutco. Your manager will never send you to my meetings ever again, right? But if you decide to quit Cutco, the reality is that you're going to have to deal with an $8 an hour job probably. Okay? And then raise your hand if you're familiar with this, if you've worked a job. Okay, so you know, you understand this. And you're probably going to get 30 hours if you even get the 30 hours. That's not a given. And you take out taxes, and you're making $190 a week. Then you get a promotion, but that takes 6 months. Here, you get a promotion your first day if you want. Who's hit their first promotion the first day or two? Yeah, that's pretty. By the way, put that in your resume. Always put that in your resume, because they don't understand that when they interview you, right? They'll say, so you hit a promotion. I'm sorry, it says you hit a promotion in 24 hours. And like, yeah. Then you explain this. You explain the performance base. That was a big part of my interviews, by the way. So 6 months you get a promotion, but you don't go from like $8 to 12 or $8 to 16. You go from 8 to like $8.50. Am I right? Yeah, I'm not making this up. I asked you guys. This is what I came up with. right? So look, take out the taxes. 1 year later, you're making a whole $1 more. You're balling. Woo! Woo! Right? $9 an hour from 8 a year later. So that means your 1 year growth opportunity works out to about $30 more a year. You don't even have to take notes to see how miserable this is. Right? This is the reality of what happens between 18 and 21, roughly, unfortunately. Now, I know that some of you have had the opportunity to work at higher paying jobs, and that's awesome, and I have a lot of respect, but that's not common. That's not normal. Michelle with an L, 1L. You have 2 teenagers? Are they working?
No, they're not.
Okay, when they do, they'll tell you, Mom, who's ever worked in a week, for a week, and you've worked however many hours, your paycheck was like $100, $70, $125. Yeah, that can be frustrating. And there's the difference, right? You go to that job and you work harder. Do you get paid more? No, you show up and you slack. If you don't get fired, do you still get paid more? That's the same thing. So watch this. 2 years later, you're at $10 an hour. Ladies, come on, you're okay. Now your 2 year growth opportunity is $60 extra a year. So I hope this is actually the negative bombio. This is the light bulb I hope goes, okay, you know what? I just had a bad day. I had 7 appointments, 2 rescheduled, 1 didn't show up, 1 canceled, 1 said they didn't like it, 1 told me to get out of the house, and 1 bought a peeler. And you'll have those days, by the way. And they gave you 10 recommendations and said, no, give them back. You might get that. But guess what? You can quit, too. You could quit at that day. All right? Ale, you've had those days. You've been with us for a while. This isn't your first rodeo with us. You can have those days. Ale, your career sales now, 13,000. Coming back, she started late with us last summer. She's picking right back up at dirty 30. I owe you a hat, by the way. It's really, 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 really important that you remember this, because my manager showed me this back in 1997, and every time I got hard, and every time I hate it because I have to do phone calls all the time, I was like, I'd rather have the pain of the phone calls, the pain of than the pain of. Either way, there's pain. I'll say it again. You're going to have pain one way or the other. Pain of the phone calls, pain of what you don't like about this, or pain of this. Either way, there's pain. Okay? So I'll say, what I want to do now is teach you 3 sections. I'm going to teach you how to get more leads. I'm going to teach you how to get more appointments in general. So that's different. Leads is the actual people you can call. I'm going to teach you how to actually set up more appointments. And I'm going to teach you something at the end called the kitchen system, which will help you sell more. Okay? So it's a 3-part section. We'll take a couple of breaks in between. But this is my opportunity to impact your sales. So let's do this. On your first section of your notes, just right at the very top, you can write down advanced leads. Advanced leads. Here's the question I'd like you to write down, word for word. How badly do I want them? How badly do I want them? How badly do I want leads? Or you can use the other term, recommendations. I'll say leads for today. How badly do I really want leads? And that's interesting because the perspective I want you to think about is if I offered you a chance, I read this, right? If I offered you a chance to have, 20 recommendations from a Mac customer, that's good, by the way, right? Or a average order sale. Like, think about that. What excites you more? Right? Then think about if I offered you 20 recommendations or a homemaker sale. What excites you more? Right? It's like, oh, I take the leads, Jeff. Well, you're just saying that to kiss my butt. Oh, well, that's what Jeff wants you to say. What if I told you a signature sale with the steak knives or 20, 30 recommendations from a Mac customer? Right? And if we're being really honest, you're like this. God, right? Well, you should have your cake and eat it too, ideally, right? Sale and recommendations. But the thing I want you to share with you is that our top representatives, I'll use Andy Janti as our best. He's our best rep in the one of our best in the company. He's from Florida Caribbean, from the Miami office. He would tell you the leads. If he had to pick one, he would say recommendations because of what he knows he could sell from that list. Okay? So I'm saying that to you because I think sometimes when we're new, like I've had ready, this makes my heart sink. I had a representative a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I just sold my first homemaker. I said the fact that you're celebrating is the problem. Where my football players at, right? You ever see someone who never scores a touchdown? They score the first and only one ever, and they're doing the dance. It's like you clearly don't score a lot. Why? Because it's new to them. It's like such a big deal. But the people, and I'll use a football analogy, like the best receivers of the world, the Megatrons, the Calvin Johnsons of the world. When he scores a touchdown, he just hands the ball to the ref because he's basically saying, this is what I do. This is why I get paid millions of dollars. Like, I'm used to this. I expect this. Not every play, but I expect to perform. So I said, you can't be excited about a homemaker every time. In fact, you shouldn't be excited about a complete set because there's always more. Like, it's all mental framing. But I had a representative say, oh, I sold a homemaker. How many recommendations? Oh, I guess I got so excited I forgot. You forgot to ask for recommendations from someone who spent $1,100 with you. And there was no objection. She was like, oh, I'll take it, no problem. That's like one of the best customers ever, right? Clearly that rep doesn't understand the value of a recommendation because they would know, okay, I made the sale. I need to get lots of recommendations. We actually did the math, and it works out to 15. You don't have to write this down. $15 to $50. Right? 40 hasta 50. Right? 50. 15 hasta 50. $15 to $50 per name you get, depending on how much your commissions are. So if you're newer, it's $15. When you're like an FSM, you're essentially getting $50 a name. So let's say I told you there was a machine in every one of your Cutco offices when you go home. There'll be the machine in this lobby. All the Sharpies when you go to that 3-story bank building with the shady elevator. The only reason I know because that's my old office, by the way. That's my office. And the creaky door. Once you get inside, it's awesome, but you have to get there. It's an awesome office. All right, or in whatever office you're in, and imagine there's like an ATM machine in the lobby. And all you do is you submit your recommendations, and every one you get, it spits out $50. So let's say, oh, here's 10. $500 cash. Wouldn't you work really hard to get recommendations? Yeah, and I hope that's a light bulb where that's how you should approach the business, because in real sales, it's not what you know. Yeah, and the more people you know, the more people you can call. That's how it works here, right? So, and who knows you, right? So let's make sure that we have that mentality before I teach you anything. So the other thing I want to share with you is if they give you a recommendation, it's because they like two things. First of all, just by nature of what you just did for them for 45 minutes, what do they have to like if they're going to recommend you? Right, the product. That's number 2, right? They have to like the product. And then Daniel, go ahead. They have to like you. Just take it to a, let's not confuse the process. If they're going to give you recommendations, if I'm going to say, okay, hey, Rafael, I will willingly give you names and numbers of people I know, and I have no problem you calling them. I have to enjoy what you've just done with me and my husband and I have to enjoy you. If one is off, you don't get recommendations. Would you agree? Yeah. Right? Like, oh, awesome product, but you were just really awful and high pressure. No. Oh, you're great, but you're terrible. Like, your product is awful. No. So you have to have them like both of you. So let me give you thoughts on how for them to really enjoy the product and how to like you. I'm going to start with the product. And this is just me kind of going off a little bit. So in order for them to like the product, what needs to happen? Michael, so someone said, you got to sell it well. What does that mean? What does he mean?
Presentation to tell them everything about it to make sure they understand.
Yeah, they have to understand the product, the information. Go ahead. Yeah, Aubrey. They have to understand the value of the product. So you have to do a good what? Presentation. Everyone understand that?
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't think people do, because if you're going to do a stellar presentation where they love the product, you guys want to have professional pay, correct? Professional pay, not $8 an hour. So then you have to present like a professional. Yet there are people in this room who still don't have page 9 and 10 memorized. Right? And some of you are like, oh. Right? No, but I'm just saying, this is, and I'm going to tell you a cool story. Some of you want to get recommendations, but you still don't have page 21 memorized. Some of you want to get recommendations, but you don't have the binder that Kathy and I put together and told you to put this binder together Wednesday for you guys. You still haven't put it together. Right? And I only say that because if you want to really have people love the product, they say what? The product sells? Not true. Not if you do terrible. Not if you're not good at explaining the details. Like, you can't, it's not like, it's not like, right? It doesn't sell itself like that. You like that, Pau? I know you like that. Puerto Rico, she likes that. She's laughing right now. I promise you. It doesn't sell itself like that. It sells itself when you demonstrate it properly. It sells itself when you sell it, the details and obviously the value. So, ready? A couple thoughts for you. I'll never forget this. Sarah LaFellig from Miami, who was the one that she's the 18-year-old that made about $50,000+. She said, the light bulb for me is when I realized that if I was going to make a lot of sales and get recommended, I had to be a professional, not a college student selling Cutco. Even though I was a college student. So what did she say? And then we had this conversation. She said, Well, by the way, I'll say this to you. Do you know that there's a website called Vector Connect, and it's not only to roll all your orders? Vector Connect, otherwise we just call it Rollo.com. It's called Vector Connect. Vector is the marketing company of Cutco, and it's meant to connect all the people that market Cutco. Vector Connect. Connect you with the product, connect you with resources. Did you know that if you go to Vector Connect, there's a whole library of talks? It's like, oh, well, I'm not getting a lot of recommendations. You can just click on a video and watch it and get better. Yet some of you have never even discovered those videos because you only go into where it says rep online order and you print it, and which is fine, but research. If I asked you, if I were a customer, I said, hey, what's the difference with the 1 paring knife and the 4-inch paring knife, and not just the inches? What's this one used for versus the bird's beak? What's the difference between a homemaker, a signature, and complete? Right? When you go to a 5-star restaurant, I took my girlfriend to this beautiful dinner in Miami. Any Miami people here? Go to the Design District, Michael's Genuine, in Midtown. Woo! Okay, sorry. Right? But and the waiter came up, so have you ever been to Michael's before? No. Oh, awesome. So we have a couple questions. What are your questions? I asked the question. His name is Josue. Josue goes, oh, didn't even look at the menu. I said, so what are your favorites? Like, oh, and he just went off on all the different things, and he knew all the details. And he said, do you like this kind of cheese? Okay, no, not that one. He knew what to recommend to me, right? And that's why he got a monster tip, right? I said, I work in sales. You're great customer service. He goes, thank you so much, because I believe in this restaurants, by the way. But can you sell it? Can you legitimately say, oh, Mrs. Jones, well, the ultimates are just, it's the homemaker plus all the specialties. The signature, it's the homemaker and just 3 of the specialties, and it has the scissors. And this has 8, this has 10, this has 12 table knives. You can do these with steak knives instead. Do you know why the entertainment pack is so good? Do you know that we even have garden tools? Do you know how to explain the fisherman's solution? Do you know why we have a stainless steel table knife? Do you know that there's a steak knife and a table knife? Well, why is one better than the other, or is it even better than the other? These are things that you need to research so that when you have customers, they know that you believe in your product versus you're the college student that's reading the script and got suckered into selling this stuff. Right? And I'm going to talk about that in the next section. It's really important because when you start to be able to delineate to a customer, this is the product and the value, man, you're going to sell so much product. So my first thought on just how to have them like the product is master your presentation. Master your presentation. When I say memorize, it's Mrs. Jones. Most people haven't had the opportunity to price fine cutlery. It's like anything else. There's a wide variety of quality and prices available. I'm sure you'd agree. Now, some of you do that, you'll still sell homemakers, by the way. Right? Or is it Mrs. Jones? Most people, they really haven't had the opportunity to price fine cutlery. But it's really like anything else. If you're not aware, there's a wide variety of quality and prices available. I'm sure you'd agree you can't compare Cutco to the cheap set of knives, at the local bargain store. So I have a price comparison I want to show you. It's a set that we think is the most similar. It's called Bustoff and Shun. See, the second one is more conversational. Why? Because I have it memorized, but I really understand the way it's supposed to go. Right? Oh, Mrs. Jones, can I just buy pieces? Oh, you can totally buy pieces. You can do whatever you want, but sets are better value because you have the right tool for the right job. Plus, it's a lot safer because you'll have that wood block. And it comes with a discount, which I can show you later, and you don't want to miss out on the free stuff. So what did you want to do? We can customize pieces. It's way more not value, or we can go into the sets. There's a confidence in that. Oh, well, why should I get this one? Mrs. Jones, okay, you cook how much? Oh, you need the signature, and here's why. Because if you have the homemaker, you won't get that cheese knife and that santoku, and you're just telling me you like that cooking show where they use it. You're going to want to have that signature. Plus, 2 more table knives wouldn't hurt you either. But do you know how to do those things? Because Kathy's one of the best in the world at recommending, not selling. I recommend you get this one. You really should get this one. I recommend that one because she knows the product. So hopefully, does a light bulb go off, right? Instead of just reading the script. Plus, if I'm a customer, if I'm a Mac, one day I'll be a Mac. I'm an AC. I'm not married yet, but I am 36 and I'm a homeowner. I don't want to sit through a college kid reading through a script. It's painful. I want to take that knife that doesn't cut through the rope and gouge my eyes out. Right? Okay, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but it means you should know your product, is what I'm saying. Okay? So that's food for thought. Light bulbs? Anyone? Okay, so here's my thing. Whenever you get a light bulb, even if I'm talking, I just want you to go like this. Go. Like, okay? Even in the middle, right? So for example, ready? 1 + 1, by the way, equals 2. Oh my God, yeah. Okay. Some of you are like, what? Okay, second thing, now this is really important. Like you, this is actually the harder one. The one I just told you how to like the product and show good presentation, that's easy. Just learn your craft and practice, because practice makes perfect. Liking you is a whole other story. There will be people who will recommend you to the 30-40 only because they purely like you and the product's okay to them. Like they like the product, but they love you. And how do you get that? It's kind of hard because let's say you're introverted and you're not used to like speaking out to people. It's hard to. It's kind of like the knife doesn't sell itself. It's not like they just like you, right, Uncle Steven? Like me. Right now, here I am, like me. Right? Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're the opposite and you're really loud and they have a certain view of you. This is one of my favorite parts, okay? So how do you get them to like you? What's the number one part of the presentation? What step of the sale helps them like you? Connect, build rapport. Why you're working, you guys know that. But that's also one of the hardest parts of the presentation. Okay, and watch this. This is light bulb for sure every week. Everyone's like, you got me, Jeff. Ready? One of the hardest, most challenging, most difficult, most awkward parts of the presentation when you're new is going from chit-chatting with the customer, which for some of you it's hard, for some of you it's like no problem, but going from chit-chatting to starting the presentation without feeling awkward or like you're high pressure or just what's going on. Okay, so for example, you guys have your training manuals. You don't have to pull yours out, but familiar, page 2. Okay, and there's a part here that says, I'm new and will probably be using my manual a ton. What are you essentially letting them know? That you're going to do what for them? You're going to read from the book so that it takes away the pressure from really from who? From you. You guys got that? If you're with me. Okay, so we're just trying to take the pressure away. Okay, then you sit down. Let's say it's Mr. and Mrs. Jones, right? And so you go through the presentation. And how many of you can relate to this? You're starting the present, you're chit-chatting, you want to get started, but it just feels awkward. Can anyone relate to that? Like, how do I start? All right. How do I, okay, we're really cool, now let me sell you something. Right? It's like, oh, cool, eat. Yeah, I think they're going to take it in 3 and 4 right away. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to sell you something. Okay? Or, some of you can relate to this, and I hope, not everyone, but when I started Cutco, I remember thinking, okay, I think I'm a kind of a cool guy. Cool enough. I realize now at 36 I really wasn't that cool. But I remember sitting in Cutco training, you know. I played sports. I was on different clubs. And I was pretty social. And for crying out loud, the main reason I was working is to make money to go out on the weekends and do whatever 19-year-olds do on the weekends. Okay? Leave it to the imagination, right? So, I really will. But I remember thinking, okay, so I'm going to sit down with my uncle or this nurse from my mom's hospital because she's a nurse, or my dad's colleague, he's a doctor, and I'm going to chit-chat with him, and I'm Dr. Gamboa's son, and yeah, what's going on? Okay. And then I'm going to open up the book and start reading to them. Like instantly, I felt like, have you ever done a presentation like this? Watch. Where you're doing the presentation, and you know when you have like an outer-body experience? Where like you kind of see yourself and you have like a conversation in your head. Like, ready? Don't say anything, but I know half of you are like, oh my God, that's me. You're sitting here like this. You're going, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I'm new and will probably be using my manual a ton. Oh my God, they're laughing at me. They're looking at me like I'm crazy. I feel really weird right now, and I don't know how to take the pressure off. And if in some way, shape, or form, raise your hand, say I. Right? Ready? And you know what the look they give you? I promise you. What look they give you? The look they give you is, Jordan, what do you do? What is this? Right? Or the look is, or it's either the, okay, we love you, but what is this? Or the look is, you're the college student that got suckered into selling this knives. Raise your hand if you've ever felt that feeling, like they look at you like, oh, that's all right. Yeah. That's okay. First of all, that's not a feeling that's accurate. It's a feeling that's projected. I want to share something with you is that that feeling is very normal because of the way you start the presentation. Unfortunately, it's what we teach you, but it's the best way for when you're new is to read the script. So let me do it my way. Don't take any notes. I'm going to give you the bullets. I hope this is a big light bulb for you, okay? Because when I do it this way, every one of your managers knows how to do this. When you do it this way, it takes away the pressure. Okay, so watch. Okay, so again, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, all right. So we'll get started. Yeah, you guys, what do you think? Heat, take it in 4? 5. 5, okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for sure. So, you know what? Let me get started, and I'm going to use my manual here. Actually, no. Sorry, I forgot. before we start, can I just say thank you? I just want to say thanks for seeing me today. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you guys are my favorite neighbors, and I want you to know I've been working at this job, making all these calls. I've had like rude people, I've had really friendly people. I just want to say thanks for taking the time to see me today. Before I even get into this whole thing, I'm going to show you a product today called Cutco. And you said you'd never heard of Cutco before, right? Okay. I just want you to know this stuff is awesome. I wouldn't sell this stuff, and I wouldn't put my name on this if I didn't think it was great stuff and show it to you today. It's kitchen cutlery. It's the world's finest set of cutlery. It even says it here. But I want you to know that I'm not a knife salesperson. The reason I'm doing the job is because, if you don't know this, I'm a pre-med major over at FSU. And my goal is to be a doctor like Dad. But what I want to do is I want to get people skills working one-on-one, and this helps me come out of my shell to speak to adults, because adults are the people I'm going to be speaking with. And they have an internship program called Branch, where I can run my own business for 4 months. And when I do graduate from med school, I don't want to work for the hospital. I want to have my own clinic like my dad. So that's the reason I'm showing you the Cutco product, not because I'm the knife salesperson. And the things I'm excited about also is they have contests. One of the things I'm excited about is this fast start contest. Okay, I'll stop there. Light bulb? Boom. Okay. Time out. Okay, so watch. Hold on. Time out. And I'm going to review this. What's the feel on that one? What's the difference? Okay, smoother. Okay, and by the way, some of you are going, I'm not that smooth. You don't have to be, but I'm going to teach it to you. You'll become smooth. I'll smooth you. I'll make you, thou shalt be smooth. Go ahead. Sincerity, that's it. It's honest, it's up front. Okay?
It seems very relaxed.
Okay, and by the way, we're going to show you, some of you are going to do it on the spot and do it just like that without even trying. In the back, Michelle with an L.
I think it calms people down too, and to relax them before you're actually trying to sell them something.
Yeah, okay. So, go ahead, one more.
It felt like you're still building rapport.
I was. Okay, watch. So this is cool, and I want you to, this is a 5-step process. And remember, once I started doing this, I took, the whole awkward feel was gone, and they always say in life, and also in sales, of course, is that you'll never get a second chance to make a what? First impression. So let's kick off your first impression with a bang. First step, and what I just showed you is open and close, and I'll explain all this in a second. First step is to open and close, which in this case it was the book. Second is to thank them. And I'll just read it if you can't see it. Third is ask them, have you heard of Cutco before? 4, I'm not a knife salesperson. I'll explain in more detail how this works. And the last thing is why I'm working. Okay? So open, close, thank them, heard of Cutco, not a knife salesperson, and why I'm working. When you're done, up, see your eyes. Very well. So here's what your book tells you to do. It gives you some questions to ask if you don't know them, right? But essentially, you're meeting with friends and family acquaintances. So what are you doing really when you start the presentation? You're just catching up. Then you get to the point where you let them know why you're working with Cutco, which tends to be kind of just short and awkward. And then you say, oh, I'm new and I'm probably been using my manual a ton. I still think you read that. I still read that. Say, oh, Mrs. Jones, you know, I'm new, so I'm going to be reading a lot. But then if you notice, I say, Mrs. Jones, I'm new and I'm going to be reading a lot. So let's get started. Physically, okay? And you guys know this from my training. 55% of communication is what? Body language, right? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. But more importantly, actions speak louder than words. Yeah. So this book, by design of our business, represents the product. So this is in the physical aspect of your presentation. This is also public speaking 101. This is business. So when you say, it's Yadi? Okay. Miss Yadi, let's. I'm new and I'm probably going to be using my manual a ton. So let's get started. When you open the book, that means I'm going to sell you something. So when you say, okay, Miss Yadi, I'm going to use my manual a ton because I'm new, okay? So let's get started. Actually, you know what? Before we get started, it's what I'm doing. I'm closing business. In fact, I'm physically closing business and putting it to the side. Now let me just talk to you. No business. Business to the side. So just physically what you're doing is game on. Actually, sorry. Let's talk before game on. So now you've put business to the side. And I even apologize. So let's get started, Miss Yadi. Bless you. Actually, you know what? Before we get started, I'm so sorry. Now, what's the second thing you do? You thank them. I just want to say thank you. Notice there's no script. It doesn't say thank you and I give you what to say. You want to thank them for what you're genuinely going to be thankful for at that specific presentation. Let me give you a couple of things. Miss Yadi, thank you so much. This morning when I called you, right before I called you, I had this really nasty lady who was so rude. And I was really happy to talk to someone like you. Thank you. That's sincere. That's not scripted. That's appropriate. Mrs. Jones, thank you so much. That sandwich was a lifesaver. I was so hungry. Thanks for offering me food. That bite was really good. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for being nice enough just to see me. No one hates a thank you. Right? I promise you, I bet you my career, my income, that when you say thank you, they won't say, what? Get out. Thank you? Get out of here, right? No, what do they say? Oh, you're welcome. So, ready? When you're in a state of appreciation, that is the #1 state to be in. Then you ask them. Then you bring business back slowly. Say, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to show you a product called Cutco today. Have you heard of Cutco? Their answer is not at all important. Your reaction to their answer is what you need to be cognizant of, right? This is your opportunity to show that I am not the college student who got suckered into this, or the mom that has 2 teenagers that got suckered into this. This is your opportunity to show, no, I willingly am choosing to be here with this product. So, Miss Yadi, have you ever heard of Cutco before? Let's say she says no. Have you heard of Cutco before? Oh, no? Okay. This stuff is awesome. I can't wait to show it to you. I even say what? I wouldn't put my name behind it if it wasn't. Let's say they say yes. Have you heard of Cutco before? You have? Oh, so you already know this stuff is so good. Okay, I can't wait to show it to you. Because what they're going to see is that you believe in it. Like, oh, then you're in for a treat. This is going to be awesome. I love this stuff. I can't wait to show it to you. I own it. If you do, let them know. Okay? Then this is where you take out the awkward, I'm a college student, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, Mrs. Jones, this stuff is awesome, but I just want you to know I'm not a knife salesperson. I almost say it in the way where I'm like, I know that's what you were thinking. Right? That I got stuck at. I mean, Miss Yadi, I'm actually not a knife salesperson. I know it's knives, but, and then you explain why you're working. The reason I'm working, and you just tell them up front. What you heard me say is word for what I said every presentation. I want to be a doctor. Dad's a doctor. I don't want to work for someone. I want to run my own business. This helps me work with customers. It also helps me make my own money so I don't have to mooch off mom and dad. Word for word is what I would say. So then you go into the fast start and say, this is Jones. This is what I'm excited about. See the difference? Right? So Steven, for example, watch. You're going to be, we've never practiced this, right?
No.
Okay, I want you to open the book. I want you to close and say, I want you to say, let's get started. Actually, before we do Mrs. Jones, and put the book to the side.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's get started. Actually, before we do Mrs. Jones, I just wanted to take the time to thank you
no
for
problem,
seeing me
sweetie.
today. I know I just got off the phone. I actually went and saw this guy named Mr. Gamboa.
Oh, man.
He was awful. He owned every Cutco they had and really just gave me a hard time.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But you know what? Of course. And you're our favorite
like
neighbor.
I said, thank you. Actually, have you heard of Cutco before?
You mentioned knives on the phone, but I was talking to your Uncle Mike, and we've never heard of it.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I actually own some Cutco in my home, and my parents have had it for 20 years, and I've used it every day, so it's something that I'm willing to put my name behind, and I'm willing to sell it, and I'm really excited to show you.
Oh, we can't wait to see what this is about.
Well, I'm not actually a knife salesperson.
Okay.
I'm going to Birmingham Southern next year, as you may know, and I want to play golf, but I also don't want to be mooching off my parents, and this job allows me to get my own money. It'll also allow.
No, keep going.
It'll also allow me to gain real-world job experience because my ultimate goal is to come back and actually work for Broughton and hopefully end up running it someday.
Okay, time out. No script. Rolled off the tongue. Smooth. Why? Because it's why? Why? From the heart. Yeah, right. But it's from the heart. There's no script when it's really what's happening. You know what I'm saying? And your story is different. So what I encourage you to do is think 30 seconds before each presentation of what you're thankful for, and let them know. You should have your story all the same.
Mr. Gamboa part.
Yeah, the Mr. Gamboa part, of course. Right? So I think that's really important. You guys ever see that? Can we give Steven a round of applause? Yes.
I knew it.
I knew it. You knew it. Your fault for talking to me. Let's get started. Mrs. Gamble. I always pretend Mrs. Jones, right? Mrs. Gamble, let's get started. Actually,
So
before
wait, Mrs. Jones or Mrs.
Mrs. Gamboa.
Okay.
Sounds good. So Mrs. Gamboa, get started, but before we do.
Okay, so Mrs. Gamboa, let's go ahead and get started. But actually, before we do, thank you so much for seeing me.
Oh, no problem. Of
I've
course.
had such a hard time actually getting recommendations or people to actually see me, so I'm just really happy for you to take the time to.
Oh, of course, and you know,
to see me.
friends of church are friends of ours, for sure.
Thank you. Well, have you ever heard of Cupco?
No, I thought you said Costco on the phone. I was like, oh, I've been to Costco all the time. Raise your hand if you got that, by the way. Or Petco. Not Petco! Sorry, that's just a pet peeve of mine. Sorry, shh, okay, my bad. I derailed it. Okay. No, we've never heard of it before.
Well, you're really gonna love the product. I'm really excited to go ahead and show you them. I don't own many of the pieces, but I use them pretty often, the ones that I do have, and honestly, I love them. And I'm gonna tell you that I'm not a knife salesperson,
okay.
But I am working because I do want to go to India next year, and I just want to have that extra money on the side so that I can just pay for myself and have the extra money to go ahead and enjoy.
I would buy from you for that. If I'm a Mac customer, listen. If I'm a Mac customer, my wife and I are sitting to this young, wonderful college student who's trying to pay her way to India, right? What crazy, mean, awful person's like, oh, I'm not trying to help you, right? Number two, if I'm a Mac customer and I've got $250 to spend, $1,100 to spend, whatever the number is, right? Because $250 at the end of the day, if you really understand how it works, is nothing to a Mac customer. Nothing to a Mac customer. I will buy. How many of you have ever had this? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you have ever heard this? And I quote, so if I buy this, does this help you? Does this help you, Jordan, with that scholarship? Okay, cool, we'll get that. So, but if we get more, it helps you more. That means you did a good job building a rapport. Can we give her a round of applause? That's right. Okay. So guys, everyone, I'm not going to go anymore, but you guys get the point on this? So, really important. How many feel like you could do that? It's a lot easier, smooth. Okay, good. You're welcome. All right, let's go to the next one. Point number 2 under advanced leads, and we'll debrief at the end of this. I want you to write down, please, master the approach. How soon? Master the approach. And what I mean by that, like literally word for word, when you go through. So, Mrs. Jones, did you like the product? Did I do a good job? Okay, good. Did you feel pressured at all? Okay. Well, remember that automatic sponsorship I was telling you about? Right. Mrs. Jones, there's one more really important part. Here's where you can really help me out. You see, I only get paid if I get paid every time I show Cutco, and I can only call people who I've been. So what I need you to do while I'm running up the order and cleaning up is just to jot down 200 to 300 people who've been nice enough to help me out. No, I'm just kidding. 20 to 30 is perfect. In other words, I'm not necessarily looking for people who you think would buy, just nice like you to take a really quick look. The way that the automatic sponsorship works out is that for every 10 people that you give me, I'm allowed to put you down as a sponsor. 20 gets me 2, and so forth and so forth. If you want to give me 40 or 50, it would be 4 or 5. Once I get 50, I would bring this back to my manager, and they would give me $150 worth of any of the product that I want. I would actually personally take that, put it into my collection because I like the product so much. Right? I love the product so much, and it helps me sell more towards that scholarship, by the way. So here's a pen and a piece of paper. Let me go ahead and get your sheet from this binder, which I'll explain later. Let me go get your sheet of paper. Thank you so much, Mrs. Jones. I really appreciate your help. If you don't have it like that, it's not memorized. Like really having it down. Because, for example, I was telling my group in training, like, for example, there's a joke in there where you say 200 to 300, not really. If you don't have it memorized, you can't pull the joke off, and it's going to look really bad. Mrs. Jones, write down 200 to 300 people. Just kidding. 20 to 30 is perfect. You laugh, but what did I say in training? You laugh, but these are true stories. 20 to 30 is perfect, and you don't even pull off the joke. Or, ready? For some reason, this sheet fell out. And it's like, remember the automatic sponsorship I was telling you about? The customer goes, no, actually. I don't remember anything about that. Because you never showed it in the first place. It doesn't have to be green. It could be white. It doesn't matter what color. So having it memorized. And part of it, too, when you don't have it memorized, here's what happens. You start to put your little spice to it, and your spice doesn't work. Right? For example, no wimpy words. Okay, so I'm going to write down these words. Eliminate them. These are words that subconsciously come out. They're not intentional. They subconsciously come out in a moment of weakness and lack of confidence. Okay? Would you? Yep. Could you? I know some of these aren't real words, they're hyphenated. Okay. Maybe. A few. Sorta. Okay. Kinda. Mrs. Jones, would you write a few names down? Could you? A few. It's sorta. And when you're having an approach that's not memorized, you start to throw these words in. And these are weak words. These are words that show, I don't believe in this enough to really ask you with confidence. So just be aware, be cognizant, if you will, that these words need to get out of your vocabulary, but they creep in when you're not. It's like this one. That's my favorite creeper word. Or like. Those are words that aren't intentional. It's your filler word. It's your lack of confidence filler words. I'll teach this if you're in AGL school. I do public speaking seminar. It's awesome, and you learn about this. Okay. So you guys know this. There's the difference between passive and aggressive. You guys know that, right? And you don't want to be passive. You don't want to be aggressive, and you certainly don't want to be passive aggressive. Okay? You want to be assertive. Assertive. See, passive is what? So, Mrs. Jones, okay, that's okay, no worries. There are actually people in this room who have said, that's okay. When the customer maybe give a reaction, oh, okay, never mind. What's aggressive? When you make the customer feel uncomfortable. So passive, who feels uncomfortable? You. Aggressive, who feels uncomfortable? Yeah, it should be neither one. It should be you get your point across, the customer feels comfortable and respected. That's a big part of the presentation. So, for example, when you're doing things like, here, hold this 1 second. And let me feel, can you stand up quick? And actually, I'll take your pen. Thank you. And you hold this 1 second. Thank you. Why'd you take my pen? Why'd you give me your pen? Why'd you stand up? Why'd you take my pen? Because I simply what? I asked you, but I wasn't really asking. I kind of told you, right? Okay, thank you. Okay. Hold this 1 second. Thank you. Right? You gotta see things. She's like, what am I doing, Snow? Okay. But here's my point. You want to ask versus what if it's like this? So could you maybe take my pen, sort of? No, that's okay. Sorry. Right? What's aggressive? I trained him. He knows me. Okay. So I guess you just have to be really aware of how are you handling the sheets. Mrs. Jones, thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. Or you can't show. You know how they say dogs smell fear? Yeah, customers smell insecurity, and they know when you're not comfortable. Sometimes you have customers that will give you a lot because you're just so comfortable and confident that it's a good thing for you. So I want to share with you a couple of thoughts on that. This is point number 3. You can write down automatic sponsorship, and I'll give you a couple of tips on the sponsorship that I think will really help you out. Number 3 is automatic sponsorship. Okay. Couple of things, just random points. Number 1. You have to at least spend some time explaining it. Unfortunately, in the training manual, this is all it says. 1 sentence. I don't even know what it says. That's how much I don't use it. The All-American Scholarship Race gives me a chance to win a scholarship. If I can keep a full schedule, right, I can earn a scholarship to help pay for school. Also, at the end, I'll tell you about my automatic sponsorship. That's it. Also, at the end, I'll tell you about my automatic sponsorship. And we add a few things instead. Also, at the end, I'll tell you about my automatic sponsorship. This is one of the key ways that people can help me earn a scholarship. I want you to add that line. So later on, I'll tell you about the sponsorship. This is one of the key ways that people can help me earn that scholarship. For those of you that are not students, come see me afterwards. I'll give you something different instead of scholarship. Mrs. Jones, later on, I'll tell you about the automatic sponsorship. This is actually one of the key ways that people can help me with my scholarship. Really important that you cover that. So now you're just giving a little bit more emphasis to it. What's the first line of page 21? Do you remember the automatic sponsorship I told you about? Yeah, remember this was like the most important way you could help me with the scholarship? I bring it back up. Okay? So emphasize that. That's the first thing. Okay. Also, you guys know this. You don't have to write this down because this is already in your book. But I want to explain why we ask those 3 questions at the beginning of page 21. Right? You say, did you like the product? Right? Mrs. Jones, did you like the product? Some people will go through, they don't wait for the affirmation. Remember the difference between passive and what type of learning? Active, right? So when I ask you to answer the questions, I want you to respond, and that's important. But it's the same thing on the appointment. Hey, Mrs. Jones, real quick. So did you enjoy the product? Get the yes, because when they say yes, they're affirming that. Oh, by the way, if I recommend you to people, they will also like the what? Product. Oh, did I do okay? Oh, you did great. Great, because when you recommend me, that means I will also do a good job for when you recommend me to people. The last thing it says, did I make you feel pressured? Oh, no, honey, you did a great job. Great, because when you recommend me, your friends will also not feel what? Everyone not feel what? Pressure. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Okay, great. So now remember that automatic sponsorship I was telling you about? You know, the one that helps me with the scholarship? You got to add that on. The one that helps me with the scholarship, that's why it's after the scholarship. The one that helps me with the scholarship. Well, here's who can really help me out. I get paid every time I show Cutco, et cetera, et cetera. So those questions are so important. So now what I want to do is I want to give you, like, this is some Jeff Gimbo hot magic sauce. You ready? When I give it to you, this is like, all right. Okay. So we're just setting this up. Okay? This is like the special magic sauce here. So one of the things I'll share, and you don't have to write this down because I'm going to give this to you word for word in the script. And now Ricky's going to grab it in a second. Okay? So you'll say, Mrs. Jones, you guys know the company portion of the book. We'll talk about the history of the company. Cutco's made in what part of New York, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Since 1949. Each year we sell over 200 and customers we have over. We've been profiled in shows like. We're also, Cutco Vector has a long-standing reputation of supporting the community. We go through. Yeah, you guys got it. Good. But the part that's not in the script that I think is huge, and you're going to love this one. This is for sure light bulb. Also, one thing I want to mention, Mrs. Jones, is that we're a member of the DSA, which is the Direct Selling Association, and the Better Business Bureau. These are two organizations that monitor ethical practices of U.S. companies. We have a perfect record with both. But what that really means is that I can't do door-to-door and I can't do telemarketing. So listen. So the only way that I can continue to work towards that scholarship is if I'm personally recommended at the end of each presentation, just like I was recommended to you by Miss Sally. So at the end of the presentation, I'm going to ask you to recommend me to 10, 20, 30 plus people who I can call and share the product to. If I don't do a good job, if I don't do a good presentation, if you don't like the product, or if you just don't like me, I don't want you to recommend me to anyone. But if you do like the presentation, if you didn't feel pressured, or if you just really like me, I am going to ask you to recommend me to as many people as possible. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. So let's keep going. Okay? Yeah? Okay? The number one reason why people don't give you recommendations, or they say, oh, I'm uncomfortable, Jordan, or I don't do that to my friends, or let me think about it. It has nothing to do with if they like the product and like you, what's the deal? Right? Would you agree? Would you agree that if people like you and the product, they'll recommend you? Raise your hand and say aye. Yeah, for sure. So why is it all of a sudden you get this happy customer, they're excited, and you do page 21, it goes from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde? Because you caught them off guard. So they weren't expecting you to ask for names. Because you weren't up front. And no adult wants to be taken out of the blue by a college kid or a colleague. I'll say it again. The number one reason you get any, like, oh, I don't know, or all of a sudden they don't know anyone, whatever. I don't know anyone, or I don't feel, oh, I don't do that. You ever get that one? I don't do that. Do what? Recommend a great product and a great student? It's because you caught them off guard. So with this phrase, Mrs. Jones, what did I say? I just want you to know that at the end I'm going to ask you for recommendations. I just want to give you a heads up. Light bulb, yes? Okay. Yep. The sheet is actually, yeah, right there. Aubrey, it says Jeff Magical left on left. Yeah. Can you pass that? Sorry. My bad. Yeah, Jeff. There you go. So take this. This is already word. What I said is already word for word on the sheet. You're welcome. Okay. So this will go at the very end. This is in between the company and the scissors. So before you cut the scissors, when you finish all the company stuff, you read this. So just think of it logically. Number one reason people don't give recommendations or get all of a sudden really funky and uncomfortable is because they feel taken back. They feel taken. It's like they're off guard, caught off guard. Okay. So instead, you say, Mrs. Jones, and you point down to here, right? Mrs. Jones, we're a member of the DSA, which is the Direct Selling Association, and the Better Business Bureau. These are two organizations that monitor ethical practices of U.S. companies, and we have an outstanding, excellent record with both. That means we don't do door-to-door, we don't do telemarketing. So the only way that I can continue to compete for that, what? Scholarship. Is anyone not a student? Okay, sponsorship. Just change the word. Sponsorship. It's like one twist of the word. The only way I can compete for that scholarship is if I'm personally recommended to other people by each customer, just like I was recommended to you. So what are you trying to show them? You ever have a customer that says, yeah, we don't do that. And they act like they don't know that that's how they see you. Right? So I'm with Miss Yadi. I called her on the phone because Miss Peggy recommended me, and she's like, oh, I didn't know about this. Didn't you call them? It's because you caught them off guard. Okay? So Mrs. Jones, watch this. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to ask you to recommend me to 10, 20, 30 plus other people. If I don't do a good job, if you don't like the product, or if you just don't like me, I don't want you to recommend me to anyone. So now you're giving them an opportunity to say no. I want you to know, Mr. Jordan, for you and your wife, if I don't do a good job, if you don't like the product, if you feel pressured, you don't like anything I do today, do not recommend me to anyone. But if you do like the presentation, if you do like the product, and I even do this, watch, I even smile. Or if you just like me, I give the, how can you not like me look? Or if you just like me, okay, I am going to ask you to recommend me to as many people as possible. I just wanted to give you a heads up. In other words, without saying it, I respect you as an adult. As a customer, I would never dare catch you off guard. So here's my professional heads up. So you'll have customers at the end. Mrs. Jones, remember that automatic sponsorship? Oh, is this where I write names? And you're like, yes. This is where you write names. Like, okay, give me the pen. Let's go. This is for scholarship, right? I'm just telling you, with laugh, you'll have customers. Okay, when do I recommend you? And you're like, it's like your heart's light. You're like, yeah, right? Because you set it up right. Okay, light bulb, yes, good. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Last thing, and then we'll we'll do a debrief and do a stretch. Tell me, who has a recommendations notebook set up? Okay. Some of you have it, some of you don't have it, some of you have it, but you don't know it's not right yet. Let me give you a couple keys to the recommendations notebook. The reason the recommendation notebook is so important is because it takes the pressure off of it being this corporate sponsorship and scholarship and I'm sorry, this corporate like recommendations, and it takes away the feel of recommending people. What's important about the binder is it represents a student going for a scholarship or a representative going for a sponsorship. Okay. So a couple keys. Number one, in the front, I would make sure you have it decorated so it looks like a college student book, not the corporate book. Okay, so you should have a pocket. And this one says scholarship to UCF. This is Tiara's book. Right? Help me, and I like to put help me win a scholarship to school. If I were you, I would go into Google Images or go to your bookstore, get a sticker of your college, go to Holy Cross, get an emblem of Holy Cross printed out, Case Western. I would put, if those of you that are athletes, I would put a picture of you in your uniform, right? Because you want to make it as student as possible. I was a pre-med major, so I had a picture of a stethoscope and a caduceus. I did, right? I also had a picture, my dad's a doctor, so when I was like really tiny, I was like 6 years old. I was in his white coat, and the stethoscope came all the way down here, and the white coat was on the floor. It was like a cute picture saying I've always wanted to be a doctor, yeah. And I had a University of Maryland College, the emblem and the mascot, that picture of the campus, and said, help me win a scholarship to University of Maryland. So right away, the emphasis is not on buying, it's the emphasis on helping you towards what? Scholarship, okay? That's the first step. Any questions on that? Just the setup. Yeah, Aubrey. I would do everything minus the school. What are you excited about? Is there a car you want to save up for? Picture of the car. Okay? So then, let me give you a couple of guidelines with the pages. Okay? So in the front, you should have anything that's a triple sponsor or more. Okay? Anything that's a triple sponsor or more. And which is a full page. In the middle, double and single sponsors, which is 20 and 10. Okay. In the back, You want them blank. And who's that blank one for? The newest customer, okay? And I'll explain that in a second. Okay, and then anything that's less, you put this in a folder, which is not in the book at all. This one actually is incorrect. I'm going to kill whoever did this. In a folder, anything less than a sponsor. Anything that gives you less than 10. Why? Because you don't want them to see those. Right? These should be somewhere else. They should be like in another folder. Okay? So notice the first one's 30. So when you say, Mrs. Jones, thank you so much, Mr. Raffo, Mrs. Jones. I really appreciate your help. As you see, this is how you can help me with my scholarship. So let me get to your page, and you go, all right, let me go through. These are just some of the other people that have helped me out with the scholarship. I want them to see 30, 30, 30, 20, 20, 20, 10, 30, 20, and then they get to the blank one. Okay? So now what's the feeling if I'm a customer and I see that? Is that people, yeah, you match it because people do it. People don't want to be the first. That's it, right? Also, notice, and this is something from Karina from South Miami, you want to use a highlighter, and the reason it's a highlighter so it's not going to be so dark you can't read the numbers when you need them. You put down triple sponsor really big. So now there is no question, even if the customer doesn't understand, this is a triple sponsor. This is a triple sponsor, double sponsor, triple sponsor, double sponsor. You want to make it very clear for the customer what other customers are doing to help you. Okay? So then you flip through. By the time they get through, you get to the blank one. And here's another tip. Have their name already on the sheet because you expect it. All right? So this is Jones, and Mrs. Jones. There's yours. Miss Lisa Jones, there's yours. So now you're already expecting, because it's almost as if, oh yeah, well, everyone gives it. Like, why wouldn't you? Because this was awesome and I was awesome. Yeah, and their name's already there. You don't want to leave it to be empty.
We're competitive also.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Now, some of this might be review, but so far, so good? Okay, if you're with me, say aye.
Aye.
Watch. So here's a little cool, little Jeff Gimbal, little magic dust. So what I do, if I'm meeting with Mrs. Jones over here, and she was recommended by her neighbor, the neighbor gave me 20 or 30, I will take out the neighbor's sheet, put it right next to her blank one. So I'll go like this. Okay, Mrs. Jones, thank you. Like I said, this helps me with my scholarship. You go through. These are some people who have helped me in the past. And here's yours. Oh, there's your neighbor. She gave me 30. There's yours. Right? Oh, there's this Miss Aurelis. She gave me 30. And then that's your neighbor, right? Yeah, I just saw her the other day. Here's yours. It's so funny. Like 1 out of every 2 or 3 times you hear, oh, I can do that. Right? Keep up with the Joneses. Yeah. Okay. Or I have customers, if I go more, does that help you? Or will I get something? You know, and I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so that's part of it. Everyone's so far so good? Okay. Last thing I want to show you is the power of the star, smiley face, and rainbow. I know it's going to seem strange. I just want to talk about this for a second. What I want you to do, this is a worthwhile investment. You go to Michael's craft store, you go to CVS, you go to Target, and I want you to buy stickers. But I want you to buy the most harmless, friendly, elementary school looking teacher stickers like smiley faces and stars and rainbows. Not intimidating. And then I want you to go to your sheets that are already prepared, even the ones that are done. How many of you have never gotten a triple sponsor? Okay. Just take a sheet or 2 and fill in 30 of people that you know. Don't make things up. That's like, don't ever make it up. That's not ethical. But put down 30 of your customers that you know. So it's a full sheet, so they have to go through and see that. You notice here, see the smileys? Okay. We call this benchmarking. What's the benchmark? Every what gets you a sponsor? 10. So benchmarking, I want to highlight the benchmark for the customer. So regardless, if they give you 7, 2, 11, 50, 95, doesn't matter. Whatever they give you, you push for the next benchmark. For example, she gives me, Miss Aurelis only gives me 4. Okay. Thank you so much. Now, Miss Aurelis, who do you know that actually won't buy anything, but they're really nice and they'll at least see me? Hand it back. Who learned that on Monday? Okay, it's called the hand back. If you don't know that, again, no matter how many names they give you the first time, you always hand it back. Thank you so much. This one recommendation is going to really help me out. Right? This one is really going to help me out. Now, Mr. Aurelis, can you write down anyone that's just really nice? They won't buy anything, but they're really nice and they'll help me. Wait till they get back. then you do the smiley. Okay. Oh, thank you again. Thank you. We got to 7. Thank you. Miss Aurelis, by the way, when you get to the smiley, it gives me a sponsor for the scholarship. So could we get to the smiley? It sounds better on the ears to a mom who has kids than, can we get to the next level of my corporate sponsorship for my scholarship? But Mrs. Jones, we're only 3 more from the first smiley. The smiley helps me with the scholarship. Could we get to the smiley? And you'll hear moms go, oh, I can do the smiley. Right? Let's say they give you 11. That's 1 sponsor already. Oh, Miss Aurelis, thank you so much. Now, who do you know that's nice? They won't buy anything, but they're really nice. Okay. Oh, 12, 13. Thank you so much. By the way, Miss Aurelis, you're only 7 away from the smiley, and another smiley gets me another sponsorship for the scholarship. Could you get to the smiley? And they'll go, I can help you with the smiley. But again, it's just non-threatening, and it puts people at ease when you use a smile. Like, smiley face, I've seen unicorns for crying out loud. How can you be upset about a unicorn? Right? Rainbow, star, and especially for the guys, some of you guys will go, oh, that's stupid. Okay, you can think it's stupid and get less Rex. Or you can be cute and get 30. Okay? The stickers, and they cost you, $2 for the pack. So, any questions on the stickers?
Nope.
Okay. So far, okay, let's do this before we stretch. Go through your notes based on advanced leads. What are some things you're taking that are standing out right now? What do you like? What stands out? I'll say.
Open and close.
Open and close the book.
Yeah. That's the best.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Over here. Nixon. Yeah, no wimpy words. Wimpy words come out. They're actually not even active learning. It's involuntary. They just come out when you're not confident. So what do you need to do? Cut them out by doing what? You got to have confidence by memorizing page 21. Yeah, in the back.
Being assertive.
Yeah, being assertive, just like I had in the pen. Okay, in the back.
Letting them know beforehand that you're going to ask for something.
Yeah, you guys like that phrase? Use it right away. Go ahead.
I like putting their name already on the sponsor sheet.
That's right.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'll think of it for you. I got you. I'm crazy. Go ahead. Give me your name again. Alana from Miami. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like decorating the binder because I'm going to art school and that would.
Yeah, I bet yours is going to look better than mine. But yeah, Angie Gonzalez from the Miami office. She was our Art Institute of Miami. Same thing. Just talked about her portfolio and how it helps. Go ahead. In the back, Michelle with an L.
I think it's positive to say, I'm not a salesperson, and letting them know what your goal really is, like why you're doing it. I just think that's important because it's more personal, and again, you're just building a rapport.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is, to your point, Michelle, I don't know if this is like still cool speak for you guys your age, but you know what I mean? Just keep it real.
Yeah.
Like people don't want to be BS'd, right? So when you keep it real and say, hey, look, I'm not a nice salesperson. I'm 19, man. I'm a college student. I party on the weekends. My parents cut me off. I need to be a doctor. My resume is not good. I need to stand out. That's why I'm doing the job. And I really appreciate your time because this is also a job that's helping me gain interpersonal skills. There's this internship called Branch next year. I'm really excited because this is how it fits in. Instead of just saying I'm working for the company, well, they don't know what that means. But if I say, hey, I'm 19 years old, I can have a chance to run my own office for 4 months, put that on my resume, and that's great for when I want my own practice. That's different. So you just want to keep it real with the customer. Hey, I'm going to ask you for recommendations at the end, just to give you a heads up. You keep it real with the customer. I'm going to ask you if you. I did my demo for my 10K Alliance the other day. In the beginning, I say, oh, by the way, at the very end, I know I said on the phone that you don't have to buy anything. I am 100% going to try and sell you this product today, just to keep it real. Like I am going to ask you for an order. I'm going to ask you to spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 with me. I'm just kidding. You can spend 3 or 4 if you want. I say that. Because they can spend 3 or 4 if you want, right? Mrs. Jones, you can spend 3 or 4 if you want. But my point is, I believe in this product, what it does, and that's why I've sold to Miss Susan, your neighbor, Miss Peggy, your church member, and all these other people, because they also saw the value too. So I'm going to sell you at the end. You can write that down if you want. You can absolutely say no, but I believe in this product enough to at least ask you for the sale, just so you know. Okay? That's a different workshop. You like that, huh? Okay, and other feedback. Takeaways. We'll take another stretch. Other feedback. What else?
Just keeping it professional. Like not letting them think that you're not really behind the product, you don't believe in it, and that you're not the college kids that got sucked into it, and that they end up liking you or the product.
Yeah, they have to like both. Remember that. Go ahead, James.
What I have to do is that at the same time,
professional and also bring some personal incentive to it. You're telling them that, oh, hey, I'm registered at this event, I can be professional, but at the same time, I'm doing this for other events.
Yep, perfect. And then it'll go back.
Also, the competitive feel you gave to it towards the sponsoring page, where you put the triple sponsors in the front, or the ones that.
Yeah, you want them to see that they're not the only one.
Yeah.
That's why whenever you sell something, whenever you get to a homemaker and they know someone that you sold the homemaker to, you should say, and this is the homemaker, the one your aunt got. And this is the signature, your mom got this one. This is the complete, Miss Agnes got this one. You always want to name drop because people want to say, oh. And then you have competitive customers. What did she get? Okay, which one's bigger? I want that one. You have that because neighbors get all competitive with each other. So, cool. All right, do me a favor. Put your stuff down, stand up, follow me in a group stretch. We're going to finish strong here. All right, follow me. Hands up in the air. All right, bring your arms on your hips, hands on your hips. Lean to your right. Your right's that way. Lean to your left. Lean back. Okay, roll your shoulders forward. Backwards. Bring your hands up to your chest, inhale through your nose. Exhale slow. Shake out your legs. Okay, our elbows in so you don't knock anyone over and twist. Okay, left hand on your hip. Right hand up. Go hee-hee! Alright, shake it. Twist. That was too easy. Shake it out. Okay, one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Arms to the chest, in through the nose. Look up. Inhale. Exhale slow to the mouth. Go. Hands on your hips. Hold your neck to the right. To the left. Look up. Chin to the ceiling. Look down. Forehead to the ground. Inhale. Exhale slow. Turn to the person next to you. 2 hands up in the air. High five. Say, let's go. Let's go. And one more time. One more time. Sit down. Sit down. You're crazy. Yeah. I'm crazy. Okay, let's finish strong, folks. I want to make sure you guys get out on time for your appointments. By the way, this is the most exciting question I can ask you. Who's got appointments after this? It's awesome. Any athletes here? You know when you go to that camp and you learn that one move that no one knows about, and you go to the next game and you just that's what's going to happen right now. That's what's going to happen. I mean, my soccer players, when you learn that one step over and it's like everyone bites. It's like, oh, you do it the whole game. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I want to talk to you now in this section about getting more appointments, and then I'll wrap up with some selling stuff. Here's what's really interesting. If you pay attention, I'm teaching you 3 sections today on how to increase your business, 2 of which have nothing to do with selling. Why? Because the name of the game is getting more appointments. The name of the game is the more people you see, the more people you sell. Make more calls, do more demos. It's all a numbers game. Those of you that are going for a $10,000 fast start, you should have heard in your workshop that it takes how many appointments to hit 10,000? 40. Now, it doesn't have to be 40. Like David Delgado did in 31. But I've seen other people doing like 60. But the number is 40. If you get to 40, you'll sell 10,000. Now, some of you, you don't need to get to 40, but it's all about number of appointments. So the first thing I want to share with you is let me clarify the phone times, especially because you're new. Here's the feeling I know all about because I had it too. When I was new, my first 10 days, I kept thinking, oh my God, all I do is make calls at this job. I'm always on the phone, my phone bill's crazy, blah, 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 blah. It's true to a certain degree. What I want to share with you is that not all times are good phone times. Let me give you the most professional approach so you feel more structured and organized, and that way you don't feel overwhelmed with making calls. Because sometimes we tend to amplify situations, meaning if you make, I'll have a rep, and they just had a bad phone time, meaning they didn't get a hold of anyone, so they associate that bad phone time with a lot of calls. Right? Whenever you're having a bad time, doesn't it just seem so much longer? Yeah. Terrible movie, terrible date, terrible lecture at school. But then when it's really fun, time goes by. Yeah. Right? So I was talking to a rep last night. So how did phone time go? Oh my God, I made so many calls. How many? 14. In 2 hours? Yeah, man. No one's available. right? I'm a personal trainer, if you guys know that. I'm a personal trainer. It's like someone doing 10 push-ups, right? Right, they do 10 push-ups. I didn't lose any weight. You did 10 push-ups. I think you burned maybe. Okay? So there's no way you're going to attribute that to weight loss or whatever you have. What's really important is that if you just understand, if you keep making the appointments, it's going to happen. So first thing I want to share with you is what we call layer number 1, which is phone jam. Layer number 1 is phone jam. Okay, so if you notice, it says Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'll just give you the times because I know it's hard to see, and one of them is actually incorrect. 6 to 9:30, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can just write that down if you want. 6 to 9:30, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. You could even put next to that Sundays, Wednesdays. These are the phone jams. You can put down 60 to 70% of your appointments is what you book from these. On a weekly basis, 60 to 70% of your appointments are booked through this. There's a couple things you need to keep in mind. Number 1 is the 3-day rule. If you're familiar with the 3-day rule, raise your hand. What does that mean? Don't, Michelle, means what?
Don't make appointments more than 3 days ahead.
Right. Now, when you become more familiar with the job, there are actually techniques where I would let you book a week in advance, but it's like another 5 minutes of script that you're not ready for yet. For now, keep it within 3 days. It's easier. Less cancellations. Number 2, so for example, Sunday is called Kickstart Phone Jam. Sorry, Puerto Rico. Sunday is called Kickstart Phone Jam because it helps kickstart the front end of what? Of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday is called Head Start because you get a head start for when? The weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Thursday is called Money Maker because that's when you make your money. People are home more during the weekend, so you have a second big phone jam for the weekend to push all your openings. Most representatives will sell more on weekends because they just have more appointments too. The more people more available. So here's why this is important. This is the personal trainer me. You're 33% more likely to work out if you go to a gym. You guys know that? Why? By 1/3 you're more likely to work out. Why?
You're already there.
You're already there. Other people. You have a trainer. You have equipment. They keep you from getting hurt. They keep your form on point. Same thing. And you're paying for it.
Yep.
Right? So like in my gym, my place called Body Mechanics, there's a guy who's doing squats. I feel like his knee's going to blow out right there. So I walk over and say, hey, I know this might not be my place, but are you open to some feedback? Yeah, why? Because I feel like your knee's going to explode. Right? I'm like, because it's too much weight and you can, anyway, so those of you that work out, you don't need. So I just said, look, this is important. And if you do it right, the atmosphere also is just way more conducive to working out. Like you don't show up to the gym with junk food because that's not really looked upon highly there. Like you don't walk in with McDonald's going, hey y'all, what's up? Right? You actually get that dirty look. It gets competitive. These phone jams are important, and here's what I will say. These phone jams actually are more important in value than actually doing appointments. So I would put down underneath that, or it says no later than 4:30 appointments on those days. And I'll give you more detail. So on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, our representatives, our top representatives, the ones that make 50%, I never did an appointment past 4:30 on Sundays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. Because I always knew that was my time to book for the weekends. And I always have a rep that says, well, Jeff, I have an appointment. They want to buy a signature on Thursday at 7. I always respond the same way, word for word. I say, if they can buy a signature at 7 on Thursday, they can buy Monday at 2. But you literally will cut your paycheck in half. I just want to even show you the math. So people sometimes say, well, Jeff, I got this really good appointment. Let's say you do the appointment on Sunday, on Thursday. Instead of doing phone time from 6:30, and how many appointments do you think you might book on an average phone jam?
5, 7.
On the low end, 5 to 7. On the middle end, 5 to 10. On the high end, 12 to 20. Okay? So let's say even low. Let's say you line up 7 appointments. Okay? So you sell that one signature. It's like $1,600. I'm going to say you're an FSM. You make half. $800 you made because you did that appointment. Our FSMs would never do this, but you missed on 7 appointments. You probably sold on 5. Average order is probably closer to 500, maybe more. That's 2,500. What's that in half?
1250.
1,200 is always more money than 800 every time.
Yeah.
Right? Every time. Oh, well, I need to see this customer, and they don't understand the value of having appointments versus that one appointment. That's the difference between rookies and experienced here. Rookies are always about the one appointment. Or I hear this all the time, oh, he's a chef. They cater. Doesn't mean anything. I'll tell you, that's another story. Second best phone time is Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 9:30. And some of you have already experienced what's called Champions Club. Who's already been in their office in the mornings? So, awesome. That's really good to see. That will make a difference because you're going to get people before they start the day. Mac customers are up early. Mac customers haven't experienced the troubles of their life and their kids that day yet. They're in a better mood. It's easier to get a hold. Michelle, you're a Mac customer. You're one of our clients. You would fit in under our clients. So what time would you say the majority of your peers are up?
Oh, definitely 7 o'clock.
Latest, yeah. Now, not everyone. Like my mom doesn't get up till noon, but she's a nurse. But her schedule's flipped, right?
Yeah.
But most customers, 80% of our customers are up between 5 and 6:30 a.m. Okay. Questions so far? Who's already experienced and who's done morning phone time? What do you notice? Jordan, what do you notice?
A lot more people answer the phone.
A lot more people answer the phone. I know, like for me personally too, like after 8, depending on the night, if it's a team meeting, no. But after 8:30, I turn my phone off. Right? So it's either I'm with my girlfriend, my phone is off. If I'm like working out, my phone is off. I'm not the guy that texts in the gym. In fact, I would like to break your phone if that's you, right? Or I'm with family, I'm off. And then a lot of people are like that. Or they're busy, but in the morning, ready to roll, in a better mood. And last but not least, pretty much any day after 6, like after dinner time or towards dinner time, any day after 6, and Saturday from 9 to 10:30 is an awesome time as well. So anytime after 6, and Saturday from 9 to 10:30. a.m., I'm sorry, 9 to 10:30 a.m. Yeah, I apologize. 9 to 10:30 on Saturday. Because early morning Saturday is not as effective because I know for a Mac customer, sleeping until 8 o'clock on a Saturday is like sleeping until noon for you. I can't remember the last time I slept until like 9 o'clock in the morning. So it feels like a vacation. You know what I'm talking about, Michelle. Okay. So far, so good. I just want to give you the background on this. Now, I'm going to give you some more special hot sauce love from Jeff Gamboa. Okay? So I gave you some of my goods so far. I'm going to ask you for recommendations to have DSA Better Business Bureau. You guys like that? Okay.
Yeah.
The open and close the book. You like that? Okay.
Yeah.
This is like part 3 of my triple threat arsenal weapon, sell more like a mofo sales rep training. Okay? So watch. This is really important. 60-40. I want you to write down that ratio, and I want you to write down leads / sales. Leads / sales. Okay. So I need to do a quick review. Some of you learned this in advanced training. Some of you don't know this. First of all, you know that we are, allowed to give stuff for free, correct? You know that? Raise your hand and say aye. Aye. So we give free stuff. Let me clarify. We do not give free stuff to hook people up. Be careful. Unless it's mom and dad. Right? We do not give free stuff to hook people up. We give free stuff as an incentive to close a sale that you would not close without it. Who can tell me financially why we don't just hook people up? It comes out of yourself. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Okay? So when you give free stuff away, you have to subtract that from the amount that you're going to make the commission on the sale. So just to give you an idea, and you may not know this, but I'll just review. Okay? You're allowed to give away 20 points for every $100 of CPO value that they purchase. Okay? So let me give you an example here. Okay? You're allowed to give away 20 points for every $100 that they spend on CPO value. Everyone understand that? So for example, if you go to your price list, if they buy a Homemaker Plus 8, Homemaker Plus 8 is $11.39. However, there's a column that says CPO value, which is what? I think it's $10.49. Yeah. So however much this is, for all the products that they purchase, you're allowed to give away $20 for every $100. Okay? So for example, let me give you a little secret. So this is part of the secret. You're not allowed to share this. Only you can do this because you came to the meeting. I'm authorizing it. You ready? You can give more away for free if you need. You can actually go to 30 points per 100. But this is the analogy. It's kind of like when you're driving at the speedometer You know, you have the red part. You go, you go. Can you go to the red sometimes?
Yes.
Like, is the car capable of going to the red?
Yes.
Should you always be in the red?
No.
It's bad for your car. It's bad for your sales if you're always giving away this much points. But in special instances, I'm going to show you, you're going to want to give away a lot of points here. So 30. So let me use the homemaker example. Okay? On the normal example, and this is the CPO value, not the price, the CPO value of the homemaker. That means how many 100s go into 1079? 10. And you're allowed to give away 20 points. So you, in this instance, could give 200 points for free. Okay, that's why you offer either the kitchen tool set, which is 130 points, super shears, which is 75 points, or the entertainment pack, which is something, right? Whatever. What could you do, by the way? If you needed to, you could give what? Both, right? Because it still fits in the points. Okay. But now, what I'm teaching you here is actually instead of 200 points, you could have 300 points. So this is where the game begins. This is where it gets awesome. Okay. So now, instead of 200, let's say you have 300 points to play with. Under this ratio, I would save the majority, 60% of my points, I would not use to make a sale. I would keep those. So for example, let's say they buy a homemaker. I now have 300 points based on the thing I just taught you. Okay. I probably would only use about 120 of those points to try and sell the homemaker. I would save the other 180. Here's why. Let's say I say, Mrs. Jones, you can get your kitchen tools or your super shears for free. I'll take it. Okay, cool, great. So you just use 130 points. You get the kitchen tool set for free, right? So you no more. So you have how many points left? Okay. I save those on purpose. Here's why. I say, Mrs. Jones, I'll tell you what. As they start to write down 10, 20, 30, what are some things that we learned about the book? Make sure your binder's set up. Every 10, you get a sponsorship. Use a smiley face. When the customer, right before they start writing, you say, oh, and by the way, Mrs. Jones, I know you really like that vegetable peeler. If you can feel me, you give me a triple. But the reason I have so many triple sponsors is because I hook triple sponsors up. When you give me 30, I'll throw in the vegetable peeler for free. And now I have 160. So now you get 30. What am I doing? I'm using my points to give them free stuff, not for selling, for recommendations, for leads. And it's funny, once they get to like 25, 26, I interrupt them and say, Mrs. Jones, I can hook you up some more. And they always go, what do you got? Right? So if you give me another sheet, okay, you remember the ice cream scoop you really like? Yeah, I can hook that up too. Perfect. It's so funny, now they know people. It's so funny. So funny, now I have time. I don't want to get back to you. I have time now. Why? Because you just provided an incentive. Okay? And here's what's interesting. So you get another, I'm just going to make up another accessory, 30 points. Another accessory, 30 points. Okay? So now I've given away all 300 points. This homemaker went from $10.79 to like $600, $700, right? And I would turn in orders as a rep, and my managers and people who didn't know what I was doing, they would laugh. They would go, oh my God, you gave away everything for the homemaker? You just got worked. And I would laugh and go, no, I didn't. Because I sold the homemaker plus 8, 30, 60, 90, 120. I walked away with a homemaker plus 8 and 120 recommendations from someone who bought a homemaker plus 8 and is going to tell all their friends how great it was. I did not get worked. I worked it. Right? Not uncommon. I do home. I would say signature plus 90 recommendations. I do that all the time. And don't you want those recommendations from someone who bought one of the 3 bigger sets? Now, that's why you don't just do it for everyone. But if you have a customer, I would definitely throw the recommendations. And you can see, and there are plenty of times where I would sell, Mrs. Jones, would you like to get the homemaker today? It's only $11.39. I'll take it, Jeff. Right? A rookie, actually a really bad rookie, would still offer something for free. Oh, well, can I still throw in this for free? No. A rookie usually says, oh, okay, great, awesome. And they got with a homemaker, and I didn't give anything for free. I always go, oh. If someone buys a homemaker that easy, I want them to feel hooked up and taken care of. So Mrs. Jones, tell you what, because you helped me out, and you helped me with the sponsorship, let me give you that kitchen tools for free. I just need to justify it with the scholarship. Can you give me 30 recommendations? Oh, yeah, sure. Now, I don't mind giving them all 300 points, even though I didn't need any of them for the sale. Sometimes I don't need anything for the sale. I'll just give all the points away to come out with 150 recommendations. Cool? Light bulb? Okay. You're welcome. You like that one? Okay. So before we continue, so let's stop there, based on this section, with the proper phone times, 60/40. Oh, I have, wait, a couple more things. Hold on. Just last two things. Make sure, don't be afraid to call your chicken list. I think that's really important, and this is a review for sure. Okay. Here are the 4 types of people you can call. Who's heard of the term or the analogy of the 4 gears? Okay, what does that mean? Like in your car, you don't go from first to fourth. Why? Because you'll jack up the car. Okay. First group of people you know how to call already is who? Friends and family. You already know them. This is page 26, I think? 26, 27. Then, you learned on Monday, you should have learned how to call acquaintances. Okay, this is page 37. These are people that either you know of or they know of you. Or, I always say, it's been a while. Who used to be friends and close family, like I would have called them first weekend, but I just haven't talked to Miss Arelis, who's my old neighbor. I just haven't talked to her, so it's kind of weird. Okay. And then, of course, gear number 3 is directories. You can also use page 37 for that. Church, neighborhood, if you're an athlete, musician, artist, anyone that you've ever been affiliated with a club, sports. If you're a National Society, just take the roster of anyone that was a National Honor Society, call all the parents and say, I'm one of the kids from the National Honor Society with your son. Just anything you're affiliated with. Okay, and then you get recommendations, which we'll teach you one-on-one later. Oh, on a plug, in July, I have a special training for a hand-selected 100 people in the division that we're going to train to try and sell and earn anywhere between 5 to 15 grand in 1 month. And I'm going to run that training with Andy and Kathy. I'm going to teach my recommendation push there. So if you're excited to learn that, get invited to that. Okay. So right here, these two, you should be able to call 3 gears already. Yet there are people in this room, and you don't have to raise your hand because I just know the feeling of being a representative. There are people in this room who just started Saturday that feel, quote unquote, I'm already running out of people. Right? That's a normal feeling. Say, oh, I'm running out of people. Be careful that it's not you're running out of people. You might be running out of friends and family. That's okay because you might have a smaller knit, close knit family. That's totally cool. Some people have huge families, some small. But you're not running out of people. There's just a lot of people that we need to network and get. People you sort of know. Different like expansions of your list. We also call this your chicken list. Okay? Why? Because sometimes you're scared to call them. But what's the worst that happens? They say no. Actually, no. What's the worst? What's worse than that? They say no and they're really mean. Ale, I can't believe you just called me. I don't care if I was your church choir director. How dare you? Side note: if someone's that rude, guess what? You have to say it. Anyone ever work retail or food? And they always say what? Who's always right? That's not true. If someone's rude to you, how's that right? I've never known an instance where someone being rude to you is you should smile and say, oh, sure, continue to be rude to me. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love disrespect. Right? Have you ever been disrespected and you have to put a smile? No, I always expect you to be classy and professional. But in our business, if someone's that rude and that disrespectful, we don't show them Cutco. Awesome. You don't spend that hour with them. Awesome. That's how you should look at it. Right? Not, oh, no, they said no. Right? And you spend like an hour worrying about that one no. Well, I need ice cream now. Or you talk to your manager, I'm kind of discouraged. It's one no. If that one no for a knife appointment where you'll never see them again hurts you, man, you're going to have a rough life. There's more hardships. You want to end up working for this company, right? You're going to have a lot more no's in that company than you are with the knife job. Trust me. You're just getting prepared. I wanted to be a doctor. Do you know how many people are telling me you can't get into med school? Or, I mean, come on. Yes, quick question.
Yes, I just wanted to ask about acquaintances. I've just recently moved back here. I haven't been here a month yet. So I called and like touched base with people and mentioned Cutco and that I have this new job, but I don't try to force the sale right away. It's like I'm going to catch up with them first and then call them a week later.
I think it's a combination. I think you just read the approach, but you just spend more time in the beginning catching up. Okay. Yeah, what's going on? Oh yeah, it's been a while. But look, anyway, I do have to ask you something. The reason I am calling It's part of the script. Okay. So, everyone understand this? Just don't be chicken. I remember my first chicken list call was my first Wednesday. No, my first Tuesday on the job. And yes, anyone make their first chicken list call already or about to? Yeah, it's scary as hell, man. And you know who I was scared to call? Miss Sue Ranbaron. You know who Miss Sue Ranbaron was? My middle school church choir director. Like, how can you be scared? I was just nervous. I just said, what is she gonna think? What's she gonna say? What if she says no? So I called her up. Hey, Miss Sue, I don't know if your name rings a bell. Oh yeah. How's your sister? Oh, good. I heard she got into GW for soccer. Yeah. Right? I got invited over. Husband was there. They barbecued. They had some barbecue for me. Galley plus 6, 23 recommendations, 21 bar. And I almost didn't call her. My mom's friends, nurse friends from the ICU unit at the hospital. Oh, don't call them. They're all mean. They're all just angry people, and they're all cheap. They won't buy anything. I'm so glad I didn't listen to my mom, because 100% of those people she recommended me to bought. I sold 10 grand to that unit, that ICU unit, to these rude, nasty people who didn't want to buy anything, apparently. So just be careful, and that's, I have to go onto the resume part. That's one of the #1 things people talk about when you interview and you have Cutco in your AGL school and branch and on your resume is, #1, your time management skills. #2, your interpersonal skills. #3, if you're in a branch, it's just over. You just talk about running a business. #4, how you calls and how you take rejection. Right? They're looking for tough people. They're looking for people who are, oh, well, no. Oh. Right? Our Cutco reps, they have what's called a resilience, right? The ability, someone says no, don't take it, that's the key, just don't take it personal. They didn't say no to you as a human being, they just said no to what you offered them, which was a knife appointment. Who cares, right? But some of you have gotten so disgruntled about, she said no, fine. Right? Jen Zeiger in high school said no to me. Her loss. Right? No, I'm not interested. I'm sorry, you're lost. Because Heidi Hagerut, it's her win. My big win. So, okay? So I'm just saying that because you have to believe that it's not a big deal to get a no. It's not a big deal to get a no. It's not a big deal to get a, not a big deal to get a no. It really isn't. And you know what's so funny? Your customers boom. You have more customers. When you call that church director that you're scared as hell to call. Or, God, I'm going to call my old football coaches. And they coached you. Why wouldn't they want to see you? Were you some scummy, terrible player? If you were, try it anyway. Because you've grown up. You've grown up. Okay, that's just my pitch for that. Also, let's do feedback on anything we covered on getting more recommendations, more appointments. So we talked about this. Oh, last thing, you guys know what a leapfrog is? Yeah. Let me explain that. There's it's that sheet, Aubrey, just that whole pile. The top pile goes to this row. Do you mind handing that for me? Okay. I want to talk to you about leapfrog. I'm going to give you the short version. Short version is I don't have any appointments for the day, and I want them. Who's ever been in that situation? Say aye. Okay. Aye. There's nothing worse than an unplanned day off. Like a day you wanted to have 4, 5, 6, you got 1, so you're off now. That's not how it should be. The true representatives, here's how it works. A true representative that makes the most out of this, when they were planning on working, if they don't have appointments, they go to the office and get help or make calls. Right? But who's done the opposite? I'm not mad, by the way. I've done it. Who's done it where you didn't have any appointment you were supposed to, so you just kind of took off? Yeah. That's not as productive. For me, I will tell you my biggest tip is that when you don't have an appointment, either get on the phone to get an appointment, go to the office to get help, or get on the phone from the office because it's more motivating. Or number 3, leapfrog. Okay? Leapfrog is where you essentially will go to the presentation and you have the customer set you up for a neighbor right after. Okay? So give me an example. At the top is just some examples. Let me give you a true story. My story is better than this page. Jared Matthews was one of my FSMs. It was SC1 push in 2006 or 7. He went into Saturday. He was trying to have a $10,000 push. He was short. He wanted to have 6 appointments for Saturday. He only had 1 at 10 o'clock. I said, you better leapfrog. He goes, oh, you better believe I'll either be leapfrogging or I'll be back here calling. So he went to his 10 o'clock, sold like a homemaker, and did this, lined up an appointment with the neighbor. Went to the neighbor, sold another homemaker. He got to the 3rd one, he walked in, the neighbor said, oh, well, I already set up 2 more after. Is that how this works? He's like, yes. Right? Yes. Homemaker, 5 homemakers in a row and whatever accessories. It was like a $5,000 day. Hit his 10K, of course. Started with 1. Okay? Because he set it up like this. You do your normal recommendations approach. You cheer them on until they get to 10, 20, 30 names. After you receive their list, you do the pass back. Thank much. Who's not going to buy anything but really nice? And then this is the order of recommendations. It's always page 21. Okay? I'm going to take a look up here. You do page 21. You get the initial list. You do the hand back. Thank you so much. Who's not going to buy anything? And then you do the smiley face. Then you get to the next smiley. Then you do this, which is leapfrog. Mrs. Jones, thank you for these 16. Thanks for getting to the next smiley. It really helps me out. By the way, I need to see 13 appointments per week to hit my goal this summer, and I still have 2 openings for today. Normally, I would have an appointment lined up after yours. However, I wasn't able to schedule one. No one was nice enough. That's what I say. No one was nice enough. It would be great if you could try and get a hold of somebody that might be able to see me today. If they buy anything at all, I'll give you a free table knife just for helping me out. Who do you think we could call? And you go through the list they gave you. You pick the nicest person. And it's funny because you'll say, all right, Mrs. Jones, Miss Arliss, okay, you're going to call Mr. Steven and his wife. Okay, if you could call them, let them know there's no pressure to buy, and let them know I'm working towards a scholarship. They totally just get the customer to see you. They'll call, be like, okay, hey Susan, yeah, I've got Jeff. He's from church. He's working for a scholarship. Yeah, okay, yeah, and he wants to see you. Yes, it's cut. I don't care if you have. You're gonna see. I know you're not busy. I see you in the kitchen right now. Yes, just help him out. Don't be cheap. I bought. You should buy 2. Okay, he's coming over now. Okay, whatever. Bye. They do that. When you walk over, she's like, all right, come on in. I've leapfrogged. The most I've leapfrogged in a row is 3. I went from an appointment and I went 1, 2, 3 afterwards. It was awesome. It was a grand day. Okay. Jaron was 5. That's still a record. Okay, but even if you got 1 more, doesn't that help? And that's more recommendations and more sales. Okay, so we'll stop there. Between leapfrog, between calling chicken lists, between clarifying the gears, between the points, and between the phone times that I showed you earlier. Okay? What stands out? Questions, clarifications on that one. Then we'll wrap up. Go ahead. Next.
Definitely the leapfrog. I have a couple friends that are in one little neighborhood. They're all friends too, so they know each other. They'll call each other up.
There you go. And if they like the product and like you, it's easy. Go ahead.
Also having
Is it Marco?
Marco, yeah.
Marco, go ahead.
Also having that actual for the leapfrogging, because I didn't really know how to approach it.
Yeah, and there, by the way, Marco, to your point, there's an advanced way of saying it. There's a way where you can walk in and set up that you're going to ask later. I'll do it. Ready? So, Mr. Jose, thank you for seeing me today. Mrs. Jones, thank you. I'm so busy today trying to earn that scholarship that I was telling you about. Yeah, this is my 3rd appointment for the day, and I'm kind of a little nervous right now. Oh, what's wrong? Well, I'm supposed to have 2 more after this, and I don't have anything booked, so I'm actually short on my scholarship appointment goal. But maybe you can help me later. I'll tell you how you can help me later.
Well,
I kind of set it up so later.
And bringing out the whole keeping it real thing.
Yeah, keep it real.
Yeah, but actually having that approach is awesome.
Keep it real. Anyone listen to the radio? There's a lawyer who says, I keep it real. Car want it, 1-800. There's a lawyer in South Florida. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Get into an accident? I keep it real. What else? What stands out? Go ahead, Michelle.
I like using the free stuff for recommendations.
Of course. Utilize it. It's to your disposal. It's to your disposal. What else stands out? What's a light bulb for you guys? What else is giving you confidence when you look excited to implement?
I like the idea of 364 leads versus sales.
Yeah, and protecting the points. Good change. So far, so good. You like it? Yeah, light bulbs? Okay. Last thing. This is quick and easy, so I can get to the wrap up and get you out of here on time for your appointment. So what I want to do now is teach you something called the kitchen system. Okay? What this is designed to do is help you increase your average order. What this is designed to do is help you just close on more sales, and ultimately give you more confidence. So. Okay, so far so good? All right. Remember this?
Yeah.
Okay. Homemaker +8. Signature +10. Complete +12. What's under the homemaker? Galley +6. Then you have 8 starter sets, right? The essentials, right? And then you can custom. And then we don't want to go there. Right? It's bad news. Bad news. You always want to sell a set. Why? Because sets are better value. Okay. So this is review. Everyone understands this, right? So the first set that we've taught you since Saturday, or 2 weeks ago, you start with that sale. That's like the BMW 700 series. You start with that. These would be like, this would be like the 700. This is like the M series. Right? And when do you show the M series? If you sell this, no problem. Or if they ask. Okay? And who buys signatures and completes? People that like to cook, love to cook, entertain, have so much money it doesn't matter, or they only like to buy the best. Okay? Or they're a repeat customer. They want to upgrade. So here's what I want to share with you. The average order, and I even have it on my sheet here, the average order with the company is about $250. That's nationwide. From your understanding from training, when you show a Mac customer, what is $250 to a Mac customer? Like perspective of like what they spend money on. What's $250 to Michael? What's $250? Dinner. 3 kids, mom and dad, dinner tip, drinks for mom and dad, 2 appetizers, meals. That's $250, no problem. Easy. Right? No problem. I just want to put that in perspective. $250 isn't even the grocery bill. I know some people in training, they say, well, that's like a grocery bill. No, it's not. You can't. Michelle, how many kids do you have? 2. Okay. Do you mind me asking what a weekly grocery bill is for 3 people?
Close to 400.
Yeah, close to 400. And it's not like you're at Publix and they say 400 and the cashier goes, damn. Right? They go, that'll be $425. I went to Sam's Club. This guy getting stuff, I guess, for like a barbecue. That'd be $642. It's like $600. The guy wasn't like, oh my God, run. Right? He swiped his card because he's a Mac. He's an adult. I promise you, it's different. So you have to put that in perspective, $250. But it's the average order. Some people think, this is hopefully a light bulb, some people think, oh, well, the average order is $250 when they're new because $250 is an average amount of Cutco. You know the prices now, right? You know what you can get for $250? What's $250? 3 pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah? That is not an average amount. What is the average set designed by home economists to do the least number of tools? The homemaker. Right? What's it called when someone, it's a wife that doesn't have to work? A homemaker. You guys realize that one? Oh, I get it! Right? It's called a homemaker. Okay? It's the exact amount of tools without repetition. You're not supposed to use a homemaker all tools every day. That's not what it's meant for. It's supposed to be like a car. The car has an ignition, a brake, and accelerator every day. Turn signal, hopefully, every day. Steering wheel, every day. Some things every other day or a couple days. Windshield wipers. Okay? Sometimes certain like if you're in the, depends on what part of the country. Heater. Okay? And then there are things in the car that you're not supposed to use, but it's for sure going to come in the car. Airbag, spare tire. And safety on the frame, which God forbid you'd ever have to do. Seatbelt. Well, you should use it. Oh, no. The action, you're right. Okay? Yeah, to be actually utilized. So here's what's important. Here's what's really important. If you don't approach the homemaker like that, you won't sell the big sets because you'll think that's big. So in theory, the reason that $250 is the average order is not because this 2 to 3 piece set is average. In fact, you're disservicing the customer if you sell them 2 or 3 pieces and they've got kids and they cook every day. Okay? The reason $250 is an average order is this. And some of you already learned this, but I'm going to elaborate. The average customer has to say no 5 to 6 times before they say yes. That's consumer psychology. When you walk into a store, especially when you're investing. Investing meaning a type of purchase you wouldn't do in public. Car, house, kitchen cutlery, Best Buy television. You don't see people group shopping for cars. You don't see people group shopping at Best Buy for televisions because those are investments, right? Would you agree with that? Yeah. So when you invest, okay, most investments take a no of 5 to 6 times. Side note, if you know people that do group car shopping and group home shopping, you better sell them everything Cutco makes. I'm serious. Like if you know, and there are people like that. Those are called Mac++. Some of you have Mac Plus customers. I did, and I sold them 2 Ultimates. One for the home, one for the home, one for the boat. Okay. So, no 5 to 6 times. So in theory, watch. You start with the homemaker. Watch this light bulb. If they say no 5 to 6 times, that's how you get to $250. Right? Hopefully this is a light bulb for some of you. Okay? Who already learned this and understands this? Okay? Now watch. So you start with the homemaker. So in theory, you could start with a higher, because if you start higher, what happens? You should end higher. So in theory, you should start with the whole book. We have something called the Cutco Kitchen, which is essentially everything in the book to furnish your kitchen. It goes from anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000, $4,000 to $8,000. So technically, I could say, you know what, just to start, so you have a higher average order, start with everything. Mrs. Jones, this is the whole Cutco kitchen. It comes with everything in the book. You get the ultimate, the kitchen tools, all the accessories. You have forks and spoons. You even have the silver, stainless steel silver ones for those special occasions. All the accessories, garden tools. That goes to $6,000, $7,000, blah, 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 and here's the payment plan. Would you like to get that today? No? Okay, well, let's take out all the accessories. Let's just do the flatware and the ultimate set, and that comes just to the basic kitchen. Would you want to do that today? That's only like $4,000. No, that's a little bit too much. Okay, well then we have just the knives, which is the complete set that goes for $2,300, and here's the payment plan. No. Okay, well we have the signature. That's still a little bit much. How about this? We have the homemaker. Yeah, we'll just start with that one. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Like, yeah, let's just start with, that's a good starter for us. Why? Because where did you start? With everything, okay? Does that concept reign for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. You're too new to start with the kitchen. It's too hard. It's too complicated. There's like 19 to 20 different things you have to say prior to set it up without freaking the customer out when you say $6,000, $7,000. Side note, I will teach that in that July meeting. Like, I'll teach you how to sell the whole book. Twice. It's awesome. I will. Andy and I will help you with that. Andy, Kathy, Paz, and I, by the way. So 5 to 6 times. So it's too high to start there. Starting here gets you a lower average order. And sometimes the complete and the signature, you can sell them, but it's still a little bit high to start when you're new. So I'm going to come up with a new set called the kitchen system in between the signature and the homemaker. So I want you to write at the top of your notes, write down kitchen system. And this should be the last light bulb for you before I send you home. Okay. Here's the kitchen system. You do your closing normal. Page 9, Mrs. Jones, most people haven't had the opportunity. Price fine cutlery. Like anything else, you guys know that. At the very end of page 9, you say, Mrs. Jones, the beautiful thing is that they're not, I'm sorry, you say, at twice the quality and value, expect twice the what? At twice the price, you're talking over $4,000 to $5,000. Some of you say 5, it's the same thing. $5,000 for a set of Cutco. Let me show you what you get. This is our complete set, the set for people who love to cook and entertain a lot. This is the signature set, in between the complete and the basic, and it's a set for people who like to cook. This is the difference. These are two most popular sets, the kitchen system and the kitchen system basic. I'll stop there. Not the homemaker anymore. These are two most basic sets. It's the kitchen system and the kitchen system basic. In both of these sets, you would get all 10 tools that I showed you earlier. You get the 8 table knives. It comes with the beautiful oak wood block, cutting board, and sharpener for your straight edge knives only. The kitchen system also comes with this matching 6-piece kitchen tool set and the super shears. That's a very complete and practical set. Time out. What did I do? I just added all 3 together. Now I'm selling a set. Basic homemaker is the same thing. It comes with the kitchen tools and the shears. It just doesn't have the 8 table knives at the bottom. That's also a very nice set. You guys see what I did there? The beautiful thing, our company's found that one of these sets appeals to just about everybody. And the beautiful thing is that they're not over. I'll do 5. They're not over $5,000. Although they would be if they were sold in stores. As a matter of fact, they're not even as much as the #1 selling wool stuff set, which goes for $3,325. The kitchen system plus 8, only $1,473. And the interest-free payment plan, it's only $315 a month. It's like a grocery bill, Mrs. Jones. And the basic kitchen system is only $1,238, and I'll put the prices more legible. And on the payment plan, it's only $265 a month. If you were considering a set of Cutco, which set do you get the most use out of, the basic or the plus 8? Oh, the plus 8, that's a great choice. Well, now, I finally get to tell you about our first call special. This is a program of free Cutco merchandise where I get to give you free stuff if you place an order here in my first visit. So if you do get that kitchen system today for free, I can give you up to $100 worth of items in our gifts and accessories packet. And you go through the accessories, you find out what they like. You say, Mrs. Jones, I wouldn't be doing my job today if I didn't ask you this question. Would you like to go ahead and get the kitchen system and get the entertainment pack for free? Now, stop. If you get that sale, you just close a $1,400 order. And that's already higher than the $1,139. Okay? So watch. This is where you get mad and light bulbs go off. Okay? So the first option that I showed them is the kitchen system, which is Homemaker plus 8, kitchen tools, and super shears. How do they get the price? I just add this price plus this price plus this price. Well, I also add the shear holster, which is the piece of plastic that allows you to put the shears into the wood block. Okay? If they say no, Mrs. Jones, normally how many times do you have to say no? Yeah, normally when they say no to you, you have to go to a whole new set, the galley. Oh, Mrs. Jones, no big deal. I'll tell you what. The next option we have is called the mini kitchen system. It's where we have the Homemaker plus 8 and just the super shears. It's a little bit cheaper. It's actually $130 cheaper, right? Or whatever the $2 something. Mrs. Jones, that set is only blank, and here's the payment plan in a month. What am I going to do? Just add the price of the super shears to the Homemaker. If they still say no, Mrs. Jones, that's okay. We can go down to our starter set. Starter set. It's just the knives. It's just the Homemaker plus 8, just to get your feet wet with Cutco. So now the customer doesn't feel like they're getting something big. It's just, oh yeah, and then you'll have customers go, yeah, let's just start with that. Because how many no's you got? You got them at 3 no's. If they still say no, Mrs. Jones, no big deal. Tell you what, because I really want to try and win that scholarship, if you go ahead and get the starter set, what I'll do for free is give you the kitchen tool set or the super shears, just as a deal to say thank you if you get it today. If you still can't close that deal, sell them a Homemaker and do what? Give them the kitchen tools and the super shears for free. If they still, this is if you know they like the Homemaker, if they still say no, what you do, you say, Mrs. Jones, I'll tell you what, I can't give you any free stuff. I'm going to give you the best possible deal. Instead of $11.39, I'll give it to you for the price of, which is, you do the B-block special, the secret weapon. If you guys don't know what that is, talk to your manager. You can discount it. Essentially $904. So ready? They say no 6 times to me, I sell a Homemaker. They say no 6 times to you, you sell 3 pieces. Mine's better. Okay? So what am I doing? I'm just giving more reasons to say no so they can get closer to what? To a yes. Now, if the customer's not into the Homemaker at all, you obviously don't do this. You go to the next set, but you can do the same thing. So what did I do? I just created a set. So right now, I don't want anyone here ever to start. I'll give you the prices in a second. Right here. Right? I'll give it to you. I don't want anyone to start with the Homemaker anymore. That's too low. I'll put it back up. Don't start with the Homemaker. That's too low. Always start with the 1473. I'll give you the prices here. This is with tax. This is on Miami sales tax. That's the highest sales tax in South Florida. 7%, is that right?
Yeah.
So 1473 by pay is $315. 1238 by pay is $265. So just to review, all I did was I took a Homemaker, I added the kitchen tools, I added the shears, and I made a set that cost $1473. If they say no, I just made a new set, Homemaker plus the super shears. You can just look on your price list to make that price up. Okay. And if you're not sure, you don't want to seem like you don't know what you're doing, call the office. Hey, pause, do me a favor. They like the kitchen system, but could you find me the price of the mini kitchen system? It's what Jeff taught me. It's the Homemaker and the shears. They'll do it for you. And if they still say no, sell them just the Homemaker, $11.39. They still say no, you can sell them the Homemaker, but give one of the tools for free. They still say no, you can give both for free. If they still say no, you can discount it. Or if you know at that point they're not into the Homemaker, you just go to the galley. Like if a customer says no 7 to 10 times to me, I'll still sell them like a galley or an essentials, $400, $500, $600 versus $100 or $200 because I dropped down so low. The #1 reason when someone is new in their first weekend they don't sell Homemakers, Signatures, and Completes is because they make the Homemaker and Signature seem so big. Because it's for you guys, it's like, that is a lot of knives. It's not for a customer who has kids and it's a Mac. But if you make it seem like it is, then it's a big deal. That's why a lot of times customers say, yeah, I'll just get the Homemaker to get started. Let's just get started with that. Light bulb? Yes?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. What are you taking from this whole thing? What's standing out, Shane? Give me one thing.
Oh, the ability, basically all of it. being able to knock down and things like that. I actually had, I wanted to ask you, I had somebody who jumped from me talking about the homemaker itself to saying, oh, I'd rather have the signature instead of the homemaker, but because the complete's too much. But I'm also looking at flatware and cookware.
Sure.
And I called my manager right away. I was
Yeah,
like,
call Mary Lou, yeah.
I was like, well, what do I do? And she's like, well, tell him we can do a deal with all three.
Yeah, of course.
But I, like one of those people is kind of, all right, let me talk to the wife.
Yeah. When you get more experience, you'll understand it more. Any questions? Yeah.
Not questions, but with the kitchen system.
Yeah. Shh. Let me get everyone's attention. I can answer a question in a second.
That's great because you just sold them the kitchen set and the super shears with it, and you still have the points that you could use towards your
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. Wow, I should make a note. Of course, I'm always thinking about recommendations. I'm always thinking about recommendations. Always.
Do you know the price of the homemaker and super shears?
The reason, and you're probably wondering, how does the division manager not know the prices? I've been here for 18 years. The prices have changed 10 times.
Oh.
So my homemaker was $683. It's $1139 now. So just add the prices. Okay. So far, so good?
Yeah.
All right. If you feel like you learned something today, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Let me give you a couple wrap-up tips. So go to a new sheet of paper. Don't thank me when you leave. I'll say it again. Do not thank me when you leave. I hear this all the time. Thank you, Mr. Gamboa. First of all, don't call me Mr. Gamboa. Thank you, Jeff. Don't thank me. You're going to thank me? Sell more. That's how you thank me. Thank me by putting this to use. And that's my first tip. Number one, I want you to write down. I'm going to give you a couple keys. Number one is use the information wisely. That's the last word, please. I'm actually going to give you a strategy. Use the information wisely. I'm going to give you a couple points here. And all the people in Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands also, hopefully, same thing. Don't impress me and say thank you. Text me what you're selling. So the first thing I'll say is when you're implementing all these things, the worst thing you can do is go to the appointment after this, Miami, or in Treasure Coast, or in Fort Myers, or in South Miami, or down the street in Broward, and try to put everything into the next appointment. It's like overload. Both yours and the customer's heads will explode. Okay? 3 at a time. It goes in cycles of 3. So implement the 3 things. Let me give you the first 3 already. Ready? Number 1, open and close the book when you start. And keep it real with the customer. I want you all to start doing that at the beginning so you feel more comfortable. Second thing I want everyone to implement is selling the kitchen system first versus the homemaker first. Okay. And then the third thing is the recommendations magical approach where you let them know you're going to ask them for recommendations at the end. You can literally just read it. So far, so good? Okay. My second tip is be at the next most exciting main event. Everyone knows what's the next event? SC1, yeah. If you don't know about SC1, you've been living under a rock in our company. SC1, and this is my plug. SC1 for mainland it's June 10th. It's actually 1 week from today. Is anyone not invited yet? Yet, by the way. Okay. If you have not been invited, and if you're not sure, you probably haven't been. Talk to your manager about getting invited. So everyone else is? Okay. That is like the biggest deal ever. I cannot stress to you. I don't mind saying that. Okay, I'm being recorded. It doesn't matter. If the people who don't go to SC1, you will sell more than all of them. Promise. The people who don't make it to SC1 will not have a great summer, because SC1 is the catapult to having the biggest summer. It's for if you're in here for income, you've got to go to SC1 because if I add up all the people that are teaching, I've got well over, I want to say, almost $2 to $2.5 million in Cutco sales between 7 people. Andy alone is $2 million. And he's going to teach you closing success, and I'm going to speak, Kathy's going to speak. You're going to want to get that information. If you're all about advancement, that's the next checkpoint. Like if you're all about, anyone like fired up about AGL school or learning about branch, you got to get to this event because this is a chance for you to make a name for yourself by the competition, the SC1 push. So I'm saying that to you for Puerto Rico and for U.S. Virgin Islands broadcasting, that's going to be June the 17th. These are some pictures of past SC1s. Right, there's my Inferno team from Baltimore. This is one of the ones in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to show you the significance of what this T-shirt means. It actually has our Cutco logo, our FC logo, and I'll explain the significance of this T-shirt at the event because you actually can't buy one. It's kind of there's a symbol behind it. You'll see it's all set up for success. There's a lot of energy. I'm going to do a push countdown to recognize all the people that have sold a lot. You're going to see some of the top people. This is actually the Miami office 2 summers ago. What's really interesting, I take several of these people. Watch this. I met Jordan Bletcher for the first time at SLDM, and then he got invited to SC1. He's now an assistant. I met Mario Sabatez at an SLDM. I met him then at SC1. He became a district manager. Now he's a full-time collegiate CSP. I met Adriano Diaz, first time at SC1. He was 17 years old, just graduated high school. He's now running West Palm Beach as a branch manager. He's 20. My baby branch. Okay? Kathy, I mean, I could go on and on and on what happens at this event. These are some past. There's Robbie. Those are in the Reserve Beach office. This is when Robbie was a rep, a little kid rep. Okay? This is Carlos, who was one of my sales managers. Now he's a district manager. He runs all of Tallahassee. He runs the FSU office. It's my boy. So if those of you in the FSU, you're in good hands. That's my boy. Okay. This is the San Juan Mamis and Papis, and they came with the largest petite carver in the world. It was not real, obviously. And it's going to be at El Palacio Sports Bar and Hotel, which is going to be, it's actually Miami Gardens. It's not this hotel, it's in Miami Gardens. And the push week has already started, so there's a big competition. One of the things you may not know, that there's also free stuff you can win depending on the levels that you get. Who's familiar with this already? You've heard this, okay. I want you to get excited about getting tumbles. If you get to $3,000, I'm going to put you on stage and give you a chance to get recognized in front of all 400 people. Why is that a big deal? First of all, for just pride and recognition. Number 2, if you're trying to make a name for yourself for AGL school, get an interview, you want to be on stage. $5,000, this is a big deal because you get free Cutco, you get a can opener. Also, there's a champions reception where I'm going to meet with anyone over 5,000 for the push and have a little cocktail, like an appetizer reception. But it's a chance for me to see, okay, who stepped up and get more time. So you're invited to this meeting. This is already a chance for you to display yourself. You get to $5,000 minimum, I'm already going to meet with you more and get more time with you. Also, you'll get a letter from the executive vice president, our region manager, Mr. Scott Dennis, recommending you personally for work. So one of our, I believe, only 12 executives in the company, you're going to get a letter from one of our executives recommending you personally for work. So that's all for selling $5,000. $7,500, you win a hearty slicer and a traditional cheese knife. If you put 2 and 2 together, that helps you sell what's that?
The signature.
Signature and the complete, more so the signature. So it helps you elevate your sales. $10,000, I know some of you are actually going for this. If you're in your fast start right now, it's really awesome because it simultaneously goes in with the push. So if you're going for a 10K fast start anyway, win my VIP night. I already have made the reservations. We're going to be in Brickell, downtown Miami. I used to live there. I lived there for 3 years. I had to move out. I was getting in trouble. But what I will tell you is I have an awesome place down there, and I'm going to rent out the top part of the restaurant called Lolita's right across from Baru. And we're going to have an awesome night. We're going to dine like kings and queens because I want to spend time with the top performers. Get over 10,000. 15,000, you can win a gourmet set, and 20,000, you win everything, plus the iPad mini, or something of equal value. So just cool things to look forward to. One of the things I want to share with you also here is the letter. Okay, it's a really awesome personalized letter that you put into your portfolio. I would actually also, if you guys are into LinkedIn, I would add that to your LinkedIn portfolio because you get recommended for work. Okay, these are some pictures of probably 4 years of different. Some of you have your managers. This is Karina when she was just an assistant manager. This is Rachel, one of our assistants in Miami. Look at Paz, no facial hair.
Yeah, right.
Wow, baby Paz. Andy, Sarah. It's really interesting. These were all reps who just started. They all ended up running offices with our company, right? Right? Champions Night, that's going to be fun, I can tell you. I don't throw bad parties. And the thing is, I like to celebrate with people who have earned it, right? So these are just some past. There's Mario in his first VIP night, and just a couple pictures. So there is an alliance of people who are actually office early in the mornings. If you're in Champions Club, that's at 8 o'clock. I encourage you to go at 7:30 and try to hang out with the big dogs. I know that every office has this. 8 o'clock is Champions Club. For anyone in their fast start, you get extra attention, you make phone calls together. 7:30, all the big dogs in the office who already are experienced, they're learning more. Steven from our office decided to come in. He's in his fast start. He came in early as well. So I encourage you to get invited to these different workshops. And I'm just showing you some cool pictures because, like this one, for example, this is back in 2009. And I take 6 or 7 of these reps who are just brand new college students, first time getting involved in the office. And Colleen Rippey right now, like last year, but these 2 individuals were brand new that summer. Last year, these 2 sold a combined, I think, $500,000, $600,000 in Cutco. They're still with Cutco. Branch manager, district manager, FSM, FSM, assistant manager back here. I mean, you never know what happens. So that's my main thing. My third point, ready? My third point is I just want you to write down key staff. I just want you to write down key staff. The most important thing, if you want to accelerate with our company, is key staff. Here's why. No matter what, it's important that you get invited to key staff. Who's from Miami? When you go home, I want you to bug the heck out of Kathy or Paz, whoever's available, and say, hey, put me on key staff, or how do I get invited to the key staff meeting? Karina, same thing. Mary Lou, same thing. Robbie, just go walk to Ricky. Right. Hey, Ricky. Alex, who am I missing? Whose managers am I missing? Yeah, I got everyone's. Make sure right away. Because you can't get any advancement without getting on key staff first. Okay? 4, I got 2 more points, 3 more points. 4, have a positive attitude. You've heard that before. Okay? I know you've heard that before, but have a positive attitude and expectation. Like when you leave here, I would hope you're positive and pretty pumped. If not, then I did a really bad job, or you just have a bad attitude. But when you leave here, you'll be pumped. But you know, it's not always going to be good. It's not going to be happy. It's not going to be fun. You're not always going to have the division manager in front of you to motivate you. But that's what I'm looking for, to see how you handle adversity. True story. Rep was so not confident with the sales. She was like, I don't know if I can sell. The mom lied to her and said, go show your aunt. She's going to buy the homemaker no matter what. She just wants to give you a hard time so you get practice. Not true at all. She sold her a homemaker. She said, oh, Aunt so-and-so, Aunt Michelle, thank you so much. Mom told me you were just practicing. She goes, what do you mean? Because she said you were going to buy the homemaker anyway. She goes, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't even want to see this damn thing. But she bought the homemaker. No problem. What was the difference? Attitude, right? Attitude. Do you walk in expecting to sell? Are you hoping to sell?
Yes.
Do you wonder to sell? Are you that attitude where let me just make my 15? You shouldn't work here if you say that. If you ever say I should just make my 15, don't work here. Why do the job? Why did you? By the way, let me just show you. I like to show math. I like showing proof. Okay. If you sell an average order and you're brand new at 10%, that's $25. What's the base pay? 15. 25 is always more than 15 every time. Every time. So why would you possibly want to go into an appointment saying I'm just going to make 15? All right, that's not what we do. We sell the product. Okay. Number 4, 5. I'm lost. Number 5. Number 5. I have one ready. Take pride in what you do. I want to tell you something really important about the job here. And this is, I'll keep it real with you. Okay? I know what feedback you get when you get hired here or selected for the position, because it's the same feedback I got. I'm not talking about the fun, supportive one either. I'm not talking about the, oh, that's excellent for your resume. I'm not talking about the, oh, I know you can make a lot of money. I'm talking about the opposite, negative, and you can list it on and on. No time for that. Number 1, say it nicely. I think it's so motivating to prove people wrong. That's what I think. My dad, I wanted to prove him wrong. I wanted to show Dr. Gamboa, who's a very well-established, very respected doctor, that I made a right choice, that he didn't raise an idiot. Number 2, I think, well, part of this is that I just know that the most positive way you can prove someone wrong is to positively succeed versus to do something negative back. So what I would say is take a lot of pride in what you do, and how do you explain the job? For example, a buddy of mine, my colleague in Georgia, he runs all of Georgia, division manager, went to go buy his dream car, bought a Porsche C4S, right, 2002, right? By the way, in college, awesome. Cutco, hey, right? So anyway, so he goes in, dealer comes up to him and says, oh, nice to meet you. My name's Trey. Ah, Trey, nice to meet you. He goes, yeah, I'm here to buy a car. Right? Dealer goes, can't help you, sir. He goes, no, I'm sorry, you might not. I'm here to buy a car. He's in the Porsche. It's a Porsche dealership. He goes, I'm here to buy a car. He goes, I heard you, sir, and respectfully, I cannot service you today. What the hell are you talking, man? I'm trying to buy a car. He goes, sir, I don't mean to get you upset. If you're here to buy a car, I cannot help you. If you're here to buy a Porsche, I'm your man. Mm. Right? Basically, the dealer was saying, I don't sell cars. I sell Porsche. It's different. It's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different level. You can buy cars somewhere else. We can buy a Porsche here. So what are you doing for the summer? Oh, I'm selling knives. Are you? Are you selling Cutco? Oh, I'm working. I used to do this. I'm working for this marketing company because it just sounded less evasive.
Yeah.
Ready? That's not keeping it real. That's hiding. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm working for Cutco. Yes, I'm working for Cutco. It's a college student program this summer. I'm trying to build my resume and bank. I don't mind saying that. I'm trying to build my resume and bank at the same time. And I have an opportunity for a secure summer job, to have part-time work during the school year, and come back for management experience. Be upfront. Tell people that. So that's why I think the personal recruiting program is so important. As you know, there are prizes you can win, including a cruise, cheese knife, massage. And wouldn't it be really cool, surprise, surprise, wink, wink, pay attention to my wink, wink, that on June the 10th at SC1, that your division manager might unleash some really crazy, stupid, nasty contest about personal recruiting that might make you want to have everyone come in for the job. Hint, hint, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I can't say it. And wouldn't it be really cool if it's an announcement that happens at the end of SC1, it just blows your mind, gets you pumped up, when you get friends, and I'm going to send you somewhere, and if the cruise is nothing compared to what I'm going to send you on. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? Okay? So be prepared. Be prepared. So get invited to SC1. Last thing I'll say, I want to leave with this. Write down dirty 30. Who's already heard the concept or the term dirty 30? It means when you get to 30%. But here's what's really important. Dirty 30 is more importantly than just the 30%. It means you can work part-time and make full-time. That's the type of money you can make. Dirty 30 is important because at the end of the summer, anyone that sells $10,000 for the summer, I'm throwing a beach party at the end of the summer. Again, to help myself identify the leaders, but also to have fun with the people who perform. I'm also going to have our AGL interviews. Those are only going to be people who are over $10,000 in sales for the summer. So you want to hit dirty 30 as soon as possible. In fact, we have a very coveted prize. When you hit dirty 30, you get the bro snapback. Right? Hey, right? You get the FC logo snapback. And I love this because we use this at meetings because everyone's professional. And at SC1, you'll see people with the hats. It's like, that's not professional. It's cool for me because I get to look in the crowd and see who my dirty 30 people are. I get to see. It's kind of like when you're at a NFL combine, and they have different jerseys for the higher accelerated players. You can identify who the higher ranking players are. This is what it is. And it's kind of cool, and apparently snapbacks are the thing, man. I don't know. I just follow you kids. That's okay. I'll wear a snapback. So can I do a contest with you guys? Is that cool? All right, so I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to send you out of here in 4 minutes early. Nice. I want to do a contest. The first person to sell a homemaker kitchen system or higher. So the kitchen system, which is the 1473, whatever that is, that or signature complete or higher, okay, I will do one of two things. Either your choice of I will go ahead and give you the full automatic sponsorship straight up. You don't even have to get the recommendations. I'll just give you $150 worth of free cut go. I'll order it and you get it the next day or within 3 days. Cool? Or I will go to your territory, wherever your office is, and I'll have a coffee date with you, and you can ask me all the Cutco selling questions you want, and I'll give you just the Yoda wisdom and hook it up for Yoda, yeah, Mr. Miyagi, Yoda, whatever you want. I'll hook it up. XOXO. I would take the dinner. I would take the Starbucks or the coffee date, but I also will not be offended. I will not be offended if you say, Jeff, I'd rather have Cutco because I believe in the product. I know what it can do for you. Is that cool? So let's do this. I'm going to give you my phone number. Do not circulate this. Not just for the fact that my phone will blow up. It's more so because it should be an honor and a privilege to be able to communicate with the executive and the division manager. You've earned that by coming to this meeting. And some of you are thinking, like, I'm not even doing that. Well, some of you are thinking, I was thinking about quitting. Perfect. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. You're here, and that's half the battle. You're here because your manager believes in you. You're here because your manager sees a lot of potential. And a side note, I'm not supposed to say this, but I will. You're also here because I say, who do you think has management potential, whether they think it or not? That's why you're here. So good, Jeff. I'm going to send this person, these 4 people, these 10 people, because I want you to train them, give them more Cutco selling, so they can potentially earn a spot in AGL school. That's one of the main reasons you're here. Okay? I'm going to give you my phone number. It's a Baltimore area code, 410. Baltimore 410. And here's what I will say. 2 reasons I'm giving you my number, not just for the contest, because only one person's going to win this. I want you to text me. Anytime you text me, I want you to have my number so you can stay, what? On my radar. You know what stays on my radar? CPO. Hey, this is Aurelis. Remember me? right, from South Miami? Yep. Okay, I just sold my first signature, my first complete. Now, I will tell you this for sure. I will not answer your calls. I'm just so busy between management and talking to the leaders in our division, and my girlfriend and my family. There's times I just cut it off. So don't even bother calling me. I won't pick up. However, I don't mind text messages. Just know anytime after 9 p.m. you probably won't ever get a response from me. I shut it down on purpose. However, I will always check messages. And the more you text message me, the more I know. Let me know. But by the way, please give me your full name and what office you're from when you text me. Okay? Hey, this is Jeff Gamboa from the Fort Lauderdale Inferno office. Hey, this is Ale. And by the way, please full name, because you know how many Ales I know, how many Michaels I know, how many Jordans I know. I know but every name. Even if you have a unique name. Full name, what office you're from, and give me the hot update. Get on my radar. Now, the one question, I think you remember this, Ale, from the last time. Well, what's good enough to text Jeff? Like, I don't want to waste his time. Like, don't send me, I sold the peeler. Don't send me that. Okay? Send me, hey, I just got my first triple sponsor. Hey, I used this technique with the 60-40 and I got 6 pages of recommendations. But if you're not sure, just ask your manager and say, is this worth texting Jeff? And they'll let you know. They'll say, Jordan, sell more. Or they'll say, yeah, absolutely text Jeff right away. Okay? I just got actually a text message from Shayna. She just dropped a signature. It's pretty cool. Shayna, your buddy. Yeah. Cool? All right. I learned this in Puerto Rico my first time running a meeting there. I was going around telling everyone good luck, and I asked them in Espanol, right? Suerte, suerte, good luck. And then one of the Puerto Ricans, thank God, stopped me, and they said, Jefe, no! Not suerte. They said, éxito. Okay, in Spanish means what? Success. Means this, ready? You don't need luck. You got it. So I don't wish you luck. You know why? Because you got it. You got the training. You got the confidence, you got the people who believe in you, you got the division manager, and go out there and have some fun, text me, and then everyone get home safe. Do me a favor, go sell a ton, I'll see you Tuesday at SC1. Okay? All right, good? All right. I'm going to go to the front so I can shake hands and say hi to you guys. So, okay. Yeah.
I'm just going over the.
Okay. Go ahead, Daniel.
Is Ricky here?
Ricky might be in an interview.